way to the Kohen. We'll fire it up whenever the maximum goes. Enjoy your time.
Shabbat Shalom to you, awesome tribes of Israel. This is Rabbi Simon Altaf from the crispy, cold climate of Ohio. It's raining out there. Nice, pretty sight. Reminds me of England and the constant rain that we get in England. Looks like it's raining Brexit in England right now. So pretty good out there. Tell you, the fights going on between the ministers, on Brexit is one to be seen. I remember the famous words of the British Prime Minister Theresa May, which she probably gave a couple of years ago, and she said that Brexit means Brexit, and now Brexit means anything but Brexit. It's fighting over it. So there you go, political situation there. But however, awesome tribes of Israel, welcome to the room. Let me actually start with a little joke, which might loosen up the atmosphere a bit. There was a Mrs. Smart. She was fumbling in her purse for an offering. Obviously she's sitting in church, and when a large television remote fell out of her purse and clattered onto the aisle, and the curious usher bent over to retrieve it for her and whispered, "Do you always carry your TV remote to church?" "No," she replied, "but my husband refused to come with me this morning, and I figured this was the most evil thing I could do to him legally." So, okay. I guess announcements for Rabbi Kefa. Do you want to make any announcements? Should I hand you the mic back? Or are we good to go with this? None? Okay, fair enough. Alright, so our parshas today, our parsha is Parsha Zav, which is from the actually that's interesting, isn't it? Because I made a shemini as well, but where did I get Zav from? That's a very good question. Oh yeah, a double parsha, that's why. Yeah, the double parsha would be Zav because it was a double parsha, I believe, last week. So it's we could go shemini or Zav, it's no problem. So it's okay, it's a double parsha thing going on over here. Let's have a look at this Parsha Zav. We can touch back in Parsha's Shemini as well, because it's double Parsha. And it came to pass on the 8th day that Moshe called Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel, and he said to Aaron, "Take a young calf for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering, and without blemish, and offer them before Yahweh. And to the children of Israel you shall speak, saying, Take a kid of the goats for a sin offering, and a calf and a lamb, both of the first year without blemish, for a burnt offering." Okay, that's one portion of it. Let me go back and just read a little bit from Zav as well. It says as follows in Zav, Leviticus chapter 6 verses 8. "And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Command Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the instruction of the burnt offering. It is a burnt offering because of the burning upon the altar all night and the morning, and the fire of the altar shall be burning in it. And the Kohen shall put on his linen garment, and his linen undergarment shall he put upon his flesh, and take up the ashes which the fire has consumed with the burnt offering on the altar, and he shall put them beside the altar. And he shall put off his garments and put on other garments, and carry forth the ashes outside the camp to a clean place." So moving forward into Shemini and reading the bit about where Aaron is told to take a young calf for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. Let me give you today what may be surprising to some, because a lot of the times, as you read in that particular bit of scripture, it says as follows. It says that this burnt offering, or it says young calf for sin offering. Now what does it actually really mean? Because here the problem is that due to religious dogma that's kind of been surrounding us for the last 2,000 years, and since we're so far away from our tribal homes, that we kind of seem to scattered away into the nations. Shalom to you, Olivia, there in France. I hear that there's some troubles going on in Ooh La La, France as well. People protesting and so on and so forth. I thought England was bad, but France is also, keeping up with England. So as I was saying that, so we see that what happened is that because we strayed so far away from our, how shall I say, our ancestral home, that we kind of went into the nations as the God of Israel put us deliberately in the nations, and my goodness, we kind of lost track of our history, we lost track of our time. We accepted. Listen carefully now. We accepted everything that the nations told us. We accepted that as truth, whilst we forgot what our truths were. And that's the problem where we live in today. Today you go to a church, and good meaning church, meaningful church, doesn't matter what denomination it is. You go to a church and you will accept everything they tell you, and you may not even go back and read what our scriptures say. So we kind of de facto accept what Gentiles tell us, and we think what they tell us is the truth. So we will look at that, and we'll look at, closely examine sacrifices under the light of what Gentiles think and what really was being conveyed. Now, before I do this, I wanted to tell you something that happened last few days, and this is something that I guess I don't know if taken upon myself is the right word, but I kind of been thrusted into this arena. There's an area in the east, which actually is an area that's inhabited by ancient Israelites in Pakistan, by the way. It's right on the border of by the border of Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India is not far out either by the border. So that region, if you look at the people over there, and I've known that historically, that the people that live there, they are not originally from that land. I've known that for donkey's years. So, but what I also know is that those people are known to be from the tribes of Israel, and some of them are termed Yosef Zai, which means sons of Joseph. Others are termed Dawidi, which means that they are from the tribes of David. That means that they are tribes of Judah, perhaps, and other tribe of Benjamin. They're collectively called Dawidi tribes. And having said that, I came across a person there who probably was in need of help, and maybe that's why I kind of came across her, because this is not one of the regions I kind of get to go to my travels, and I kind of got to touch with that through another person. So there is a widow there that I decided that needed help, because she didn't actually come to me directly, she came to me indirectly, I guess that's the right word to put it. And her husband had died, and she had she has 2 children. I think third one's on the way. What I was told is that he fell off working from the roof or something, and he was killed, and that she struggles now to make ends. Kids had no food because she don't earn much. It's a mountainous region, extremely mountainous region, very pretty region, by the way, a bit like Colorado, but very pretty. And I was told that she only earns about $45 a month, and money is not enough for her to feed. She can't buy milk powder for her children, so she kind of makes do with what she can. Last week, I was told that they had no food in their house last week, and then I sent, let's say I sent some money over, to her to buy some food for her kids. But then I had a chat with her, not directly but indirectly, and I confirmed that she was basically asking me that if I could do anything for her, that she would like to have a little taxi built for her, or made for her, or purchased for her, that she could use to rent out to somebody who would give her a stable income every I guess week, month. And I was told that it's a very tourist region. A lot of tourists go there, And so there's taxi business there, and she didn't have the money to afford it. She basically asked me, can I do that? Is it possible? So I said, yes, I will look into that for you. So, and also she is pregnant, so she needs some money for the delivery in the hospital, and she needs to have a C-section. She cannot have child through normal, women thing. And because I think she has dilation issues, and because of that they have to do a C-section. So, all in all, the cost involved in this whole project, and I call it a project because it is a project for me, is $2,700, the whole project. About 300 of that is going to be for the C-section. So I was like, okay, let me look into it, see what I can do for you. So, awesome tribes of Israel, I don't want to take all the blessings for myself, I think that here it's very pertinent that you take note and that you come along. I haven't asked you for this kind of thing for maybe more than 2 years now. So I think that, as you know, that we stopped doing things in Africa because we hit a lot of scams and fake widows and fake orphans, and we just moved away from there. But this time, at the very least, I have confirmed that this is a genuine widow, not a fake widow, and she has a genuine need. So that's basically where I'm right now. I need to come up with $2,700. I don't care how I come up with it, whether I have to borrow, scrape. Obviously, I'm not going to rob anybody, so rob the bank. So I won't be here teaching then. So that's kind of the dilemma, because we are asked by Yahweh that when a widow comes to you, you have to help that widow. If a genuine orphan comes to you, genuine widow comes to you and has struggling, that's our responsibility to go out there and help her. As a priest, as a Kohen, my responsibility is that I've got to inform you that we collectively got to do this. Now, I want to also inform you that, let me tell you, secret of success, because everybody wants to be rich, but nobody wants to put their hands in their pocket. That's the only problem. And I was listening to a billionaire's testimony last week, and I actually sent that link over to Rabbi Kefa as well to listen to. And one of the things a billionaire said was this. He said that he wasn't always a billionaire. He said he was once upon a time, 15 years ago, once upon a time, he was walking in Pyland Beach and he had no money to purchase food for himself. Absolutely no money. He said he ran out of money. He didn't have money. He probably was, he said he was sitting under a coconut tree and had no money. He said he wrote to his friend, wrote to him or phoned him some way, I don't know how, and he said he got message across to his friend that please help me, I'm struggling here, I don't have a job right now, I need some money because I haven't eaten for 3 days and I need to eat some food, because he was just eating coconuts, I guess, whatever fell from the tree. And then he said that the friend said, look, I can't help you, but I will send you a book. He sent him a book called The Secret. You may have heard of this book, to do with the law of attraction. And he said he sent him the book, and he said he looked at the book and he said, what the heck is this? I'm hungry over here, and instead of sending me money, my friend is sending me the book. And what use is this book to me? So he goes, I reluctantly, I thought, well, what the heck, I'll read the book, but I want to have some food. So he read the book and he decided to do the imagination technique that was mentioned in the book, and he decided that he's going to try it with a cup of coffee. Can he conjure up a cup of coffee by imagining it? And he said he imagined it, the cup of coffee in his mind's eye, and he was like, thinking about how nice the taste would be. And then he said, as he was sitting there, the very next day, he said, somebody came across and offered him a coffee. They said, we want to buy you a coffee, and he managed to manifest a cup of coffee. He was very delighted. He said, okay, what I'm going to do next, if this thing works for me, I'm going to manifest a meal, a nice meal. So he started to now imagine a nice meal. He had a few dollars, he said. He had a few dollars in his pocket, and he was buying noodles for $1 a time until he ran out of those dollars. And he said he thought, I can't just eat noodles now because I'm going to run out of money and I can't go and beg. So he said that I'm going to now start to think that I'm actually eating a nice meal. So he started to visualize eating a nice meal, the smell of the nice meal, and things that he could enjoy over there. He said he continued to do that for one day, and probably did it the next day. Then he said somebody came over and offered him a meal, free meal. He said somebody just walked over and said, hey, oh, we know you. You were, working at such and such place before. Let us buy you a meal. So he got a meal as well. He was so encouraged by that. He said then he decided that he's gonna now manifest a job for himself. So he started to then imagine himself into a job role, and job. And he said it didn't take about a week that he got a job offer as a salesman. Something to do with a property firm. And he said from there he realized that there was some power in your imagination. So he said he started to visualize, imagine that he's now, because he looked at he was then started to make sales. His life started to improve, and he said then he decided that he wants a job of the sales executive. He looked at the sales executive, how they do their job, and then what he did next, he then started to visualize that he is the sales executive. And he said he was then offered that job only after a few weeks. He got that job. He said after he got into the sales executive, he looked at the sales director. Now he said, I want the sales director's job. He started to visualize, I want to have his job, just like he is doing. And he said, I continue to visualize that and dwell on it for my wish. And next, I got the sales director job. So he said, what's next? He said, next, I think I need to have my own company. He said, now I had money. I wanted to buy my own company or set up my own company. He said, next I visualize my own company. He said, I got my own company. And after that, he said that what he did is that he kind of, carried along as things happened. And 15 years later, the man is a billionaire. From scratch to billionaire. That's his real story. You could probably look for it if you want. And having said that, the point being that he had a real desire to get somewhere. And this man, is as genuine as they come. But one of the things he mentioned, which was key, one of the questions the interviewers asked him, he says, tell me, of course, you got from A to B and B to C, and you got, from a salesman's job to sales executive to sales director, and then CEO and all that, and you got your own company, and then he's got several awards in Asia for making properties. He's now a billionaire. He said, you are a billionaire, right? You're not just a paper billionaire. He says, no. He says, I don't want to say it for the sake of it. I'm not trying to show off, but he said, yes, I am not a paper billionaire. I'm a real, genuine billionaire person who has $1 billion in his account. He said, that's the kind of billionaire I am. And I have many, many properties, many, many real estate things going on, hotels, you name it, he's got it. So he asked him a particular question. He said, what's the secret? What is one of the key secrets? And he said, there's many things, but he said, there's one key secret. He said, what is that? He said, open your hand. He practically said, give money to people who come in for help, who are asking for you. He says, I did that. He said, that's the secret. That, God, he said, I believe that I was held by the divine because I did that. So this is why I keep saying to you, week in, week out, keep your hands open. When somebody comes who's needy, we must dig deep into our pockets and we must help. We can't say, hey, I can't do it, I've got money, blah, blah. Can't do that. We cannot, even if you give 10 cents, you have to give something for a person who's in need. And that was the key secret that the billionaire mentioned that actually opened the doors for him. So my suggestion to you, those of you are listening, is this, that you know me. I don't come over here every week and say, hey, send me $100, send me $50. I don't do that. I don't do that because it is not necessary for me to go begging money for other people. If I can give it, I'll give it. If I ask you to give it, you can give it. And then, we kind of carry on. Zaz, I'm sorry, you cannot have the mic. This is a teaching session now. So my point is this, that we as a family, as the awesome tribes that we are of Israel, we have a reputation behind us. And the reputation is this, that we are loyal to the God we serve. We are loyal to Yahweh. We serve Him with a tremendous heart and a desire. And we are not just here because we want to be here, because He put us here in the nations. And He wants us to be a light to the nations. And we will be a light to the nations. So that's very important. Yes, it's true that religions have taken away a lot of what we knew. They have taken those things away, but we are now coming back to our ancient heritage. We are now understanding what our ancient heritage is about and what it means to be the awesome tribes of Israel. What does it mean to be Benjamin? What does it mean to be Judah? What does it mean to be Levites? And what does it mean to be all the other tribes that we are? And we could, the list can go on. So this is the point. And so we have to understand that we must, when this woman came to me, I was like, okay, usually when people ring to me from, when people contact me from Ghana and Kenya and all over the place, I just don't even bother responding any longer, because there's too many fake people out there. But now when this person came, she didn't actually write to me an email. She was introduced to me through someone else I knew. So that's why I kind of responded to that particular call. So I thought, maybe God wants me to do something here, because this is something that came out of my backyard, and these people I know. So here, this is why I think it's important that we understand this. I cannot emphasize the point that if you don't open your hands, you don't receive. This is a very, very important principle of the universe. You don't give to the universe will give you nothing in return. You cannot put an empty hand out and say, give me money. You won't get it. And this is another thing that that's why most people don't get rich. Because they just put a hand out, give me money, make me rich, give me a brilliant job. They don't get none of that, because they don't give. And if you remember my testimony, my original, long time ago, I told you one of my testimonies, that a very, very long time ago, that's over 20 years ago, God instructed me through the Holy Spirit, in Chokhmah, directed me to send money to a poor girl in India, who was from a Hindu family, right? And I was like, wow, I'm going to send help to this girl, and she's a Hindu, and I was obviously not Hindu, of course. So, a lot of people don't want to help Hindu families because they're not in our same faith. So I was like, okay, sure, I'm going to do something. And I didn't have a job at that time. Listen to this. I didn't have a job. And I was like with a purse, with a wallet that was, only had, let me put it into your equivalent, had about $8 in it, right? And I go to the mosque, right, the Muslim mosque, and I drop my my $8 over there. That's my $8 gone. So that's my empty wallet. Then I come and I get this, I'm kind of like hinged, by God, that I need to send help to this girl in India. And not just 1 month, consistently. Then I thought to myself, how much do I have? I looked at my wealth, and it wasn't much. I can tell you, I was pretty poor by my wealth at that time. So I looked at my wealth and I was like, I only have about, $12 total. I only had about $12 total. I only got about $12 total left. What do I do with it? Do I buy my week's food with it? Do I send it to the girl? Or do I do something else with it? And I was like, Chokhmah has instructed me to send it to the girl. And I'm going to send it to the girl, and I'm going to trust God that He's going to send me more. And you know what I did? I sent that to the girl. And I then made a pledge. It was a Christian company called Christian Children's Fund. You can go look up the name. It was a company that was established in England. They had a branch in England, America as well, under a different name, called Christian Children's Fund. And they were supporting Hindu children in India who were very poor, had only 1 square meal a day. And they were basically helping them with education, teaching, and classes so they could become something. So I sponsored one girl by the name of Huma. And this Huma girl, I sponsored at that point when I had no job, I had no money, I had about $12 that was my total worth by that time, by the way. I gave my whole worth to that girl. So this is for her. Since I've been instructed, I'm going to give it. And you know how it was repaid back to me? Let me tell you how it was repaid back to me. I got a job after that. I started to move up higher, and higher. And before you know it, Simon Alter, who was earning $0, suddenly started to earn $100,000+ in a few years' time. That was me. That's my testimony. Okay? So If you think help doesn't work, if you think opening your hand doesn't work, I'm the first person that will tell you, opening your hand opens the floodgates of heaven for you. And I tell you, I'm so grateful that Im Chokhmah directed me to that girl. I'm so happy that I was able to help this family, and in a few years' time, I think it took about 7 years or 8 years, I had that girl sponsored for maybe nearly 10 years. And after those 10 years, listen to this, that girl became a nurse. I was so happy and delighted with that, because they used to send me reports of that girl. Sometimes I would send some extra help during Christmas, and I was so happy that this girl became a nurse. And I was like, my goodness, that's beautiful, isn't it? And so my point is that the little that you have, I had little at that time, little. The little that I have, I said, I'm going to give it to this girl, and I did. And I didn't think about myself, what's going to happen to me, am I going to have food for the week? But God provided for me. God provided food for me all that week, in spite of me sending those $12 that I had. And I continue to send those 12, I upped it to $15 a month. After I got a job, I started to contribute a little bit more, and I continued to do it for the next 8 to 10 years, until that girl became a nurse. And that's when I stopped. But by that time, by the way, I wasn't a billionaire, but I tell you, my house was full of food. I had 2 cars parked outside. I had a big house over there in England. So that is my testimony, that when you open your hand, God will open the floodgates of heaven for you as well. Because this is a test. Sometimes what God does, He sends us a test. Are we willing to pass that test? And I have found, let me tell you now what my relatives did. I went to some of my relations. I said to them, there's this organization, a Christian organization, and they are helping poor Hindu children. Would you like to contribute? You know what they told me? My cousin, she was Muslim, she still is. She said, no, we're not going to help a Hindu girl. We only will help Muslims. I went to another one of my family members. They said, no, we're not going to do it to a Hindu girl, only the Muslims. So I went to about 3 people. After that, I just stopped going to anybody. I said, I will do the help myself. I don't need any of these people to help, Hindu girl. I said, Hindu or no Hindu, I'm going to help her, period. So I did. So my point that guess who became the most prominent member of the family and the most prosperous? Simon Altaf became the most prosperous. I had a whole line of people outside my door. Tell us what you did so that we can be successful as well. And this is fact. This is not fiction. Someday I'll probably write a book about this, how I did it. But having said that, that's where I want you to have a similar testimony where you can help somebody and God will reward you back tremendously. And you'll be like, wow, if I did that time, God really came back for me and helped me. So I want to encourage you all. Don't think that, hey, I only got a little and I can't do anything. Do what you can with the little you have, and God will give you great reward afterwards. So that's that. So moving on now onto the next part, which is the sacrifices. So why here we're told that it came to pass on the 8th day that Moshe, called Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel, and he said to Aaron, take a young calf for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. Now a lot of people at this point will say, hey, Aaron is offering a sin offering. Surely Israel must have committed sins against God. You see, here the word of sin is taken literally to mean that you have done something wrong against God and God is going to punish you. Unless Aaron moves forward and offers something, you're going to be punished. But let me tell you something something completely different. That is actually not true. Israel had committed no sin at that point, and it was just something that God instructed Aaron to do. And why did Aaron do that? Well, let me now tell you the real meaning behind it. The philosophical and the real meaning, why God wanted these goats and lambs and bulls to be sacrificed. It says it was for the sin offering. What is a sin? A lot of Israelites were frustrated. You know why they were frustrated? Not because they couldn't watch, Oprah Winfrey on TV. They were frustrated because they couldn't get the desires and wants they wanted. They couldn't get their fish. They couldn't get their garlic. They couldn't get their cucumbers. They were frustrated. They were like, we want these things. We left them in Egypt, like we used to eat with our salad. We want them now with our food. And we haven't got it in the desert. So they were very frustrated. So there was a relationship issue between God and the people of Israel. So God said that unless you do this, Aaron, Moses, unless Aaron does this, my children meaning Israelites that are chosen, are not going to remove their frustrations. So the idea of the sacrifice was not that they committed something wrong and they killed somebody and they were guilty of murder or something. Nothing like that. Not what Christianity teaches you. It was totally no sin. It was just an issue of mind frustration. And God wanted them to be blessed. The only way they could be blessed was for Aaron to commit that sacrifice so that their desires and their needs, what Christianity calls lusts. By the way, lusts are not sins. Lusts are the rightful desires that are given to you by God. If you desire to have fish, that is not lust. That is what God has given you as a desire to have, and you must have it. And if you want to have a cucumber, and Christianity will say, hey, don't eat too many cucumbers, it's lust. No, it's not lust, and it's not gluttony. It's actually your desire, and it's 100% right that you have a desire to eat something, and you get it. So this is why Aaron was doing these sacrifices, so that the Israelites that were frustrated, they could get their desires and their wants. Because without this, they would remain frustrated. God will not open His hand for them because they had created a mind gap. What is a mind gap? Well, in their minds, they closed themselves up to God, said, you know what, God is not giving us the things we want. So, they started to whinge and whine and complain against Moses and Aaron. So God said to Aaron, first said to Moses, then told to Aaron through Moses, tell him to do this. This will remove the relationship gap, the relationship issue that me and my children are having. Once you do this, it will open up their mind, because guess which chakras got blocked? Remember we did chakras last week, the 7 chakras. When you create this mind gap between yourselves and the eternal I am, what gets blocked is your, first of all, your root chakra. That's the first one that gets blocked. Secondly, your crown chakra, your head one, that will get blocked. So what happens? No divine energy can go down and no earth energy can go up. So you are left in a state of dysfunction. And that's the point where disease can come in, and that's the point that death can come in. That is why God enacted these laws, not because God wanted to kill poor animals for His personal satisfaction. God doesn't need no animal sacrifices. He did it to bring about restoration and blessings and abundance into the children of Israel. And you will never hear this from anybody else but a Kohen from the house of Israel. You will never hear a Christian teach you this. You'll never hear another rabbi teach you this. Only the Kohen, Simon Altar, will teach you this. That this is a reality on the ground, why God did this, and this is why we were commanded to do this, so that the abundance that God had opened up for Israel will never close. Now, when every time we close ourselves, that's when the problem started. So God told us not to do that. God told Aaron to continuously sacrifice. God told Aaron to continuously burn the altar, because burning the altar today is very misunderstood. To most people it's like, what a ancient practice of burning a menorah candle, 7 candelabras or 7 candlesticks. What an ancient practice. What a wasteful practice. Most people will say, oh, that was just a wasteful practice, wasting virgin olive oil all the time, burning that burning that big candle. What's the point? The point was very simple. That burning of the candle represented the light of God. It represented the light of God that was, given to the people. And the smoke that descended from it, it went into heaven. And blessings came down from heaven. Something goes up, something comes down. Something don't go up, nothing comes down. That, unfortunately, principle is missed on many people. You give something to receive something. And so the priesthood was commanded, burn the light forever. Until the tabernacle stood, and unless they were moving, they would put the fire out, and then they'll stop, they'll reassemble it, they'll put the light back up. And when they had the standing temples, the 2 temples we had, the light was never put out by the priest. It was always on. Unless some mishap happened and it would go off, then they'll light it back up. So we were continuously burning it. Why? Because continuous burning, You see, somebody once asked me, and I told them, I said, the candle today, we look at the ancient candle, our menorah, and we kind of joke and laugh about it. Why is it continuously burning? But actually, you should burn a candle in your house. You should do that. Why? Because there is actually a process that helps your home from that candle. And what I suggest to you today, let me give you another one, is you go and get yourself either a brown color candle with a jar maybe, or open maybe, whichever you can find, or you get yourself a dark blue or a purple candle, dark blue or purple. Then you light it up, put it on your table, and let me tell you what else you do. You take this candle, you take it in front of you, you spin it 7 times clockwise. 1, 2, 3, with your hand, 4, 5, 6, 7. Put it down. Recite a bracha. Just say blessings to the God of Israel. Blessings to you, Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel. And guess what? It's going to bring abundance into your house. It's going to open up abundance for you. That is what a dark blue, purplish candle will do for you. Because we are connecting back to source, infinite source in the universe, which is the God of Israel himself, which today is known as Jesus, the I Am. So this is very important that you understand these principles. These are not mumbo jumbo, magic tricks. These are real things. They have real effect, and they change lives. So I want you to think about it, what I said, and enact it. If you want to test it out, test it with a sincere heart, and then God will reward you for that with a sincere heart. That's very important. So that's one thing. Now the other thing that I want to tell you is that you probably, some of you, if not all of you, have small children, maybe babies, maybe toddlers. And this is what you need to do. When your toddler or your baby is sleeping in the crib or in the bed, you need to speak to them. And don't speak to them like a loudspeaker, but speak to them with love, and speak to them with soft voice. And in every day, these are some of the words you can say to your little babies, boys or girls, it doesn't matter. You can say that day by day, in every way, you are going to become better, better, and better. Then you can say that you are going to be a bright sunshine, my little darling. You are going to grow up to be a fine man or woman, courageous, abundantly rich, active, intelligent, educated, and extremely prosperous. No negative suggestions will ever hamper your life. This, mishpacha, is what you should be telling your children, your little babies in their cribs. Not singing lullabies about, those lullabies that actually are so negative that they, bring these children up in negativity. Not those Gentile type lullabies which are totally negative. But look at the words you speak to your babies. And speak to those words to them every day. As they go to bed, as they are sleeping, because they are hearing you. They are processing those words, and they will affect their lives. And you will see, by using a simple example as I've given you, their lives will be extremely transformed. They will not grow to be dropouts from schools. There will not be people who can't find jobs. They will actually do exactly what you told them when they're young. They will be educated, they will grow to be prosperous, they will have nice jobs, and they will be good citizens in our society. But the important part is that you as parents, the mother and the father, or either, you have to do that, your part, to your children. You see, what most of the moms do, and as I've seen, and it's no criticism to you in here, but some of the moms I've seen outside, what they do, they curse their children. And the children take those curses upon them. You are no good. You're going to be nothing. You're going to become nothing. So they take those curses to heart. And then they act on those curses. And they do become nothing. Because they then can't find a job. They can't get ahead. They're having all sorts of problems. I'm sorry, Anna. God is not about some airy-fairy salvation. God is about us. We are the people of Israel. If you join Israel, God's already given you salvation. There's no formula for salvation. We have covenants with God. Our covenants are forever. So don't tell me that Christianity told you that our covenants are limited. We have everlasting covenants. That is where our salvation rests. So therefore we have abundance with God. We have absolute abundance, and we can live this abundance, and we will live it. And who are you to tell me? I can't. Stupid, foolish people don't even know what we are about. So this is the kind of, this is Christianity speaking. See it for yourself. He's challenging me that God didn't tell us to be rich. Yeah, right. Go tell that to somebody else. So my point is very simple. God came to Abraham, and what did he say? I'm going to give you a land. It's going to be belonging to you and to your children forever. And I'm going to give you abundant blessings. Abundant blessings. Now, let anybody disprove me. Disprove me from Scripture that God didn't say that. Then you have a point. Otherwise, get out of here. So having said that, we move on. So therefore, we see that there are a number of sacrifices that are mentioned in the book of Vayikra. As I said to you before, the book of Leviticus is for the priesthood for Israel. How to bless Israel through the things that God had instructed. And there were, little details that God gave the priesthood. All sorts of little details that they were supposed to do. The clothes they were supposed to wear. The stones they were supposed to carry. And what parts of the animal they were supposed to separate. And what parts they're supposed to leave. What parts they're supposed to eat. And what parts they're not supposed to eat. All of those things, Mishpacha, awesome tribes of Israel, they all had value. They all had a purpose, and they all had spiritual connections, which today are lost to your regular churchgoers. They're clueless about these things, what God meant by telling us to remove the kidneys, to remove the fats, and what to do with them. They are very, very important. And then, Aaron, the priest, high priest at the time, was warned, is not to uncover his head when he's in presence of God. And he was told not to tear his clothes, lest he die. That's how serious things were. So today, like I said, that today these things are kind of lost to our people because they think that they occurred in a time, in a bygone era. But this bygone era is not going to remain a bygone era. This era is going to come back when we have the third temple and the awesome tribes of Israel will be fully restored. Then this era will come back. And we will have this so-called bygone era become the present era, where, Christians teach you one thing, hey, Jesus did it all and that's it, go away now. No, that same Jesus, when he returns, he's the one who's going to help construct that temple. And then there will be sacrifices resumed. See, chew on that for a minute. Ezekiel tells you that sacrifices will resume. And so a lot of people wrestle with that and say, how can that be? How can sacrifices resume? Jesus did it all. So how can it be? Because they are taught a false teaching that God's laws have been abolished. That's a false teaching that's been taught around churches today. And I have nothing to do with that teaching. And most of you will have nothing to do with that teaching either. So we must remember what our covenants were. Our covenants were all to do with our rights with God, what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to live, how we're supposed to act. All of that was given to us by God. And it is very important and pertinent that it was given to us. Because Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah, didn't come and alter anything. He didn't say, hey, I've come back to, I've come over here to remove this covenant. I've come to do away with this commandment. He said, not an iota. He said, not a jot or tittle will be removed. Nothing will be removed. Yet, still, he says one thing. The church says another. So, who do you listen to? You listen to the man who spoke about what he said is right and what he said is wrong. He said, not a jot or tittle will be removed until the heaven and the earth pass away. So we must be very careful that what we do is we need to follow through with our covenant rights. If a lot of us today are struggling and suffering, it's not because God wants you to suffer. and God wants you to be poor, and God wants you to be poor and pious. This is a teaching of the churches. You know, there's a man that I know that said, I told you about him, that he said he took a vow of poverty and asceticism, and I told him that get rid of both of those vows. You need to give an offering to the priest and get rid of those vows, because they are not Torah vows. They cannot be held. They are they are not vows that you can depend on, and they are not vows that God will honor either. So you are totally in contradiction to Torah, and your vow is not valid anyway, because you didn't have a second person in front of who you vowed. You vow to yourself, fair enough. You vow to yourself, and you vow that you're going to do such a thing. Well, if you think that you're bound by it, it can be also broken as well at the same time. But I said you need to now give an offering of any determination, any amount, even if it's $2. I said the vow can be broken through a priest, and at the time is now. Passover is when the vows can be broken, and the time is at the feast of Yom Kippur, Feast of Atonements. I said those are the 2 times of the year. So you have opportunity this year to get rid of these vows. So this is very important that people understand that we don't just willy-nilly take a vow. You shouldn't take a vow, and if you really must, be very sure that you can carry it out. Otherwise don't do vows, and then the vows must be done in front of an elder to be valid. Because if they're not done in front of an elder, then mostly vows are not valid. They can be, they are not even considered valid if they're not done in front of an elder. So therefore this is another thing. Because if you remember, the story of Hannah. Hannah made a vow to God, but she was standing in front of an elder, a high priest, Ali. She stood in front of Ali and she made a vow, and then her vow was bound. She vowed that she was going to give her son to God when he's born, and he's going to come and serve in the temple, and that's what happened. She actually lived that vow fully. But today women are vowing willy-nilly, and they don't even live that vow. So be very careful about what you vow about, because if you vowed it in front of an elder, you'll be bound by it, and then you'll have to live it. So it can still be broken, but having said that, better not to make a vow than to break it, because it's not nice to say something to God that you will do, and then later say, well, I can't do it after I change my mind. So try not to do that if you can. This is what the Messiah taught as well. Don't swear an oath. Meaning that it wasn't saying that you can't do it, it was saying that you may not be able to keep it. That was the point of swearing an oath. And if you notice that in the Shemini parsha, it goes straight away into chapter 11, into the food laws. The famous Leviticus chapter 11, all about our food laws. Why is it that we are told certain foods are good for us and other foods are not? We're told that rabbit is no good for us. We're told that pork is no good to us. We're told that things like snakes are no good to us. Things like shellfish and sea creatures, other than fish with fins and scales, are okay for us, good for us. Why? Because these, Rabbi Benaiah asked last week about high foods that have high frequency, high vibrancy for our chakras and for our manifestation techniques and for our benefits. So those foods, by the way, are listed in Leviticus 11. They are the foods you should eat for high vibration, high frequency, connection back to God, to the universe. You got spare time to read through it. The list is quite large, and these foods are readily available in our supermarkets, in our stores, all over the place. So again, these are foods that we should be eating. If we're going to eat animal meats, then these are the only animal meats that are permissible and eatable. And if you don't eat those, then that's up to you. But I would say that things like pork, the reason why pork was forbidden, not because God hated the pig or anything, when He created it, it was because that it dulls your senses. It creates blockages. It will block your chakras. It will make blockages, and you won't be able to manifest anything. You'll have to be very careful about manifestation, about your visualization, because you're going to have trouble in that area if you consume a lot of pork. So try not to, try to limit that. Those kind of things will affect your health and affect your general life and general sense. Because when you are at peak sense, you're at peak, you're gonna be like a person who's gonna be able to visualize something and bring it to pass. Wish fulfilled is wish dwelled upon, wish fulfilled. Oh, absolutely, Rabbi Kefa. Transmission and frequency, because if you can't transmit correctly, how can you receive the frequency? So universe is all about transmission and frequencies. It's all about that. Energies that we connect into. And if we are malfunctioning, imagine a radio, the area not being at correct angle and not able to pick up the satellite signal or the radio signal, then it can't run the radio station. It comes in unclear. This is us. We are the best radio on the planet, created by God. So we can emit a frequency and we can receive frequencies. They line us up with different energies. And what we do is by doing certain things, we actually create those energies that help us. Let me give you something else that will be of benefit to you, because I think that since I've given you the candle, I need to give you one more before I kind of conclude. The one more I want to give you is I want you to go and get aren't pigs contaminated? No, I don't look at it as a contaminated issue. They are pork, and pork generally is not permitted, not because of contamination. I mean, of course, we know today that they contain tapeworms and all sorts of other problems, but they've always had those problems. They're not new. And the thing is this, that the issue is of the fat that the pork contains. It's a very, very fatty meat. And then the issue is that if you eat that, it's not going to kill you immediately. Of course, people don't die, but they die slowly. That fat will slowly build up in your internals and slowly clog up your arteries, and it will start making blockages. And heaven forbid, some people have died from trichinosis, worms going into your brain. So don't even try it. Don't go there. Just for your health's sake, for your life's sake, I'm not saying to you you're going to be killed by eating pork. You eat pork, you won't die immediately, but you definitely put the switch on to kill yourself slowly. Rabbi Kefa is saying that even doctors are saying for optimal health to stop eating pork. So, that's right out, the advice is right out there. It's up to you how you live your lives. I'm not here to condemn you, or I'm not here to judge you, but God's instruction is for us not to eat Mr. Pork. That's the instructions. Now, the other thing I wish you to understand is what you can do is you can bring in some bay leaves. The bay leaves you bring your home from, you can probably pick it up at Walmart or whatever your local grocery store is. And then the bay leaf is very powerful to connect us back into the universe. If you have a desire and a wish, you write it in shorthand on a bay leaf. And then you burn that bay leaf. And then you let that aroma, let that smoke go up. Then that desire will be produced in your life. Okay, so you can do that once a week with a desire until it happens. So let's say, for argument's sake, if your desire was to, have fish and chips, and give me a very simple thing, and you put it on the bay leaf that I like to have fish and chips, and you burnt it, and fish and chips will come into your life. You will be brought to a point where you will actually see a fish and chips shop, and you say, I want to have those fish and chips. That's a very simple example. Let me give you a better example. You might say, I want to have a house. You write it that owner of a house. And you don't have to write the whole word. You can just put in shorthand. And then once you do that, what you do is you burn that bay leaf. And you focus on it, concentrate on it, see yourself in your house, burn the bay leaf, and then let the smoke ascend up. And you should have that desire fulfilled in due course. Yes, Ukraine and USA, they are contaminated, but we're not talking from a point of contamination. We're talking from a point of human consumption. What is the causes of it? Because a lot of people like eating pork, so that's how they're brought up. But all I'm saying is that they will cause clogs and blockages in your spiritual energy. I'm not just talking about physical arteries. In your spiritual energy, they will also cause blockages. Do you know in India, do you know that why Indians are mainly vegetarians? Have you ever considered that? I want you to go think about it. That's why they're mainly vegetarians. Because they believe that all these animals, the fats they contain, they're harmful to them. And hence why they don't eat any meat. I guess maybe they eat fish. Okay, so with that, now, unless you have a question regarding the parsha, and I was thinking about going to some of the words of the Messiah, but I'm thinking, what about turkey? You can eat turkey. Turkey is fine. But turkey is a bird, by the way. It's not meat as we understand it. Meat is considered beef, lamb, goat. That is meat. Turkey is not considered meat in such a term. Turkey is a bird, just like chicken is a bird. So no worries over turkey. Now, having said that, you've been given some techniques. I wish you to go exercise those techniques, and I want you to produce the results, and I want you to report back to me what results you've got, so that other families of Israel, awesome tribes of Israel, can listen to these testimonies and can benefit out of these testimonies to be blessed in their lives in abundance, because abundance will come, but you got to act on it. Because if you don't act on it, then of course you will miss the abundance factor. And a lot of people that tell you, hey, abundance is not for you, and God didn't want abundance, or God wanted you to be poor, I think you need to keep those people far away from yourselves, because they are lying. They have no knowledge about what God is and what God wants in our lives. And God does not want you to be poor. God does not want you to struggle. And God does not want you to go out and beg in the street. That will show a poor God, a God who cannot save us on this earth. What point is a airy-fairy salvation in spiritual world when you live a poor, downright, outcast life here, collecting, food from the garbage cans? Is that the God we serve? Absolutely not. That's not the God that I serve. So even when I had $12 in my pocket, God still fed me. So that's the God I serve, who gave me abundance, and He gave you abundance. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic on to Rabbi Kefa, and we can take any questions at the end of the class. Todah, have a great Sabbath, great week, awesome tribes. Love you all. Keep it up. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. And those of you who came late, I want to just make the announcement again. There is a widow that I have made a commitment to that I will help. She needs amount of $2,700, and that amount is to one, buy her a used small taxi for her income every month, so that I don't have to send money every month then to her. Secondly, it is to get her a cesarean section to get a baby born. I think that is a noble thing to do. I want you to be with me in this thing, to be benefited from this thing, because there is tremendous blessings in what we're about to do. It's up to you whether you want to be part of that. Now, the other question you might ask is, how do I send the money? The money you can send through our website, forever-israel.com, listed at the visit our website, list on the top, or african-israel.com, and there is the PayPal page there. Right at the top on the right hand side is PayPal. Donate through PayPal. You can donate through PayPal. If you're having trouble donating through PayPal, there is an address on that website page which goes to Texas, San Antonio, to Rabbi Kefa. You can send a check of any denomination you desire to Rabbi Kefa, and his Gentile name is Lamont Clophus, Lamont. You can say Rabbi Lamont Clophus, Clophus, and put it on the back of the check or on your memo, widow. Then we'll know that the check is for the widow, and it needs to be directed to the widow. So any amounts of money that you send, please put a comment or an email to myself. This money is for the widow, so I know where that money is to be directed. Thank you very much. May you be blessed forever and ever. And over to Rabbi Kefa.
Chadasha, Colleen, if I can get her, can I get a 1? Rabbi Benita, the check should be made out to Lamont Clophus if you're going to send a check. if you're going to send a check, it's the same name that's on the website, Lamont, L-A-M-O-N-T, last name Clophus, C-L-O-P-H-U-S. You could send it to our San Antonio address. It's on our website, and that'll be fine. The address is on the website, and of course the bottom. That'll be fine. This is a golden opportunity for a lot of you to really open up the floodgates, for yourselves, for you. You may be thinking, and I was having this discussion with my daughter just yesterday, it's when you do for others that you're raised up. It's when you humble yourself and make yourself a higher. See, people have that, they have that understanding misplaced. They think that, I have to be on the top, and gimme, it just has to be all about me. This is when you miss the boat. This is truly when you truly miss the boat. You truly miss your boat of abundance. Don't miss your boat of abundance. Let the heavens open up to you and rain manna down upon you. That's real. It can happen in your life. It will happen in your life now. Manna will come down for you. It didn't stop, in ancient times. It's still going on today. But again, there is a process and a procedure to opening up the heavens. And now you realize that you're connected to the universes. I mean, how many pastors told you that when you were in your religions, that you're connected to the universes? They don't tell you this. You're connected to the divine presence, as he's called sometimes. You're connected to God. You have the DNA of God. Again, the creator of the heavens and the universes and this earth, buddy, is not just associated with your mind has been playing tricks on you for too long, and now you're coming out of the mind control, and you're using your mind as a wonderful tool that it's created, that has been brought forth for you to use it as. You must understand that all of the blessings, all of the benefits, all of the infinite abundance is already there for you. Imagine it, it's just like sitting in the clouds. It's above you. It's sitting in it's already there. You don't have to create it. It's already there. The only thing you have to do is open up the floodgate. And this is a great opportunity for you to do a great thing. For you to not miss the mark. See, mark check. I would call this a mark check. Let's see. Let's see how many people are going to miss the mark. How many people are going to sin, and how many people are going to be righteous. You're going to find out right now. We've been given an opportunity right now. So are you going to, this is a mark check. Let's call it what it is. What did the Gentiles say? I remember playing sports, in school, right? What did they tell you? Oh, gut check. Your coach will come up to you and say, oh, gut check. It's time for you to check your gut. Well, this is a mark check. This is truly to see. If you're going to miss the mark or if you're not. Truly to this universe or not. And like what Hakoon was talking about, I think it's so a valid point. We've been conditioned to connect ourselves to these, I guess you could call them tribes. So in Christianity, a tribe. Islam, that's a tribe. Catholicism is a tribe. We've been told and connected to these tribes, and we've been told that we cannot mesh or come together in any kind of way. When the laws of the universe say we're all connected to the universe, everything on this earth is made up of atoms. So, and you're connected to that rock that you're looking at right now. You're connected to the concrete that's holding up your house. You're connected. It's all connected to one. And the Tav, not the Alpha and Omega. No. He's the Aleph and the Tav. He's the beginning, and he's the ending of all. It's all. Divine presence is all. Is in everything, right? So now you have an opportunity to help divine presence. You're going to help another person. You don't look at, oh, well, they're not in my tribe, so I can't affiliate or associate because they're sinners and they're going to hell. Oh, Rabbi, they just be punished because they're sinners and they're sinning every day, so this is God punishing them. Have you not heard this being said in some of these tribes out here? The Catholic tribe, Christian tribe, Muslim tribe. Oh, no, because they're not Muslims, they're infidels. Isn't that what they say? They call them infidels. You infidels. My goodness. But yet we're all connected. when we look at this universally. You have atoms just like they have atoms. They need assistance, then who should help? We're collective. We're all on this earth together. And togetherness is key. So when a man is down, what do? We help raise them up. And in raising them up, we are lifted up even higher. You're going to find, and I mean, I'm not a man that runs on emotions. But folks that do, I'm not dictated by my emotions. But there are folks that do. You'll find that you're going to have a wonderful feeling in your giving. How many of you know that already? That when you give, this is like feeling. And it's hard to describe. But that's dealing with your consciousness and your inner man, that I am, that it's building, that I am making, that I am stronger. Because it's a feeling that, and again, I don't run on emotions, but I think this is important. Because this is what you'll see in a physical presentation of your spiritual and actual physical giving. Giving of self, giving of your money, giving of your time, giving of just you making yourself selfless, and you just give of yourself. But you actually see the results, the fruits of your labor of helping someone else. Boy, there's power in that. I don't know if a lot of you have experienced that yet. But there's true power in that. You become powerful. And being selfless. You're actually, when you're selfless, you're actually truly helping yourself. You elevate self. And you don't know this woman from Adam, but yet you do. Because she's made up of the same atoms. My goodness, what a great name for the father of us all, Adam. Do you not see that in there in the name? He's connecting us to the universe. We're connected to the universes. We're all made up of atoms. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. Stop that a moment. Now you wonder why his name, the father of us all, was called Adam. My goodness. So we all need to look at this and come out of these shells and come out of these, you can coin them concentration camps. That's all that you put yourself in this group, that group. Oh, I'm only with this group. I associate only with this group, and that's how it is. Everybody else has to fend for themselves. The reason why they're going, you see, this is all this mind control, this mind that's truly deceiving you and leaving you in deception, and truly, the more knowledge you seem to get, the further you get away from your true connection to the divine presence. How many of you heard God called by the name divine presence before? Anybody? He's been called the divine presence. Anybody? Put up a one if you're with me on that. He's been called the divine presence. Empty. Presence. Divine presence. Do you see in that name? You all have the DNA of the divine presence. What's in that name, presence? Is that you're always present. Omnipresent. Think about that for a minute. Divine presence. Listen to the name. So, and again, I'd like to put it another way. Eternal presence. So regardless of how you put him on, you put this presence, this power. It's an infinite presence. Present meaning what? He's omnipresent. Present. So you should make yourself in understanding that you are a part of the you're connected to all of this, and I'm going to talk about this for a minute later on in the lecture, because Aaron had to deal with some tough times early going. Or, Hakoyim talked about our children. And Hakoyim, I tell you what you're saying is absolutely true with our children. And it also takes place in the womb as well. I'm talking to my baby in the womb, and I'm seeing activity. I touch the womb, and I'm seeing, and even my wife does it as well. And wherever you touch in my wife's stomach in the womb, the baby seems to gravitate towards that area. There's power, and that's dealing more with the frequency and vibration side of it. But then when you begin to speak, when you begin to talk, believe me, they hear in the womb as well. And you can begin to totally program your child, even in the womb, speak life and truly speak life into that child. Because that's what they need to hear, because otherwise they're going to just play that same old rigmarole record and give you the conditioning. Oh, you do this, that mind control mumbo jumbo that leaves you disconnected from divine presence, from that eternal presence. And our folks specifically tell us that, for Israel to learn these things, they have to be taught by the sons of Aaron. Why? It's not a coincidence that you're learning about divine presence, about frequency, about vibration, about how you're an energy, and also your money. If you have the rituals that you've been given with HaKohen about prosperity, about money. Money is what? It's not an object. It's what? What is money, Mr. Hall? You heard me say this many times. I love money and money loves me, and our friendship will last forever. Money is not an object, but it's what? It's also energy. So let's see how much energy you're going to put towards helping a fellow Adam. A fellow Adam. That truly puts perspective on things, doesn't it? Go back, these walls that have been built up and put up, some of them are skyscrapers in some people's lives. The Great Wall begins to get knocked. The wall of Berlin has to come down, baby. When you go back to the universal laws that separate and segregate and tell you not to associate with this person and tell you not to do this with that person, blah, 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 blah. And let's even bring it closer to home. These are the walls that are torn down and knocked down inside of you that have been built up by the mind control to keep you disassociated and disconnected from the divine presence. Divine presence meaning that you too must be present. Connectivity, to have that frequency, that vibration, that connection with the power source, the source of all things. You gotta dump the religion mumbo jumbo. Come out of quoting all these verses and blah 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 blah, and get back to the true connection of divine presence, of infinite presence. That's where it's at. So a lot of walls need to be torn down, because for so many years you've been conditioned that, oh, sin is this is sin. Oh, you lusting after that woman, you sinning, brother. Oh, you having those evil thoughts, you better go and tell the priest so you can get in there and say those Hail Marys, and 10 Hail Marys, and 2 Our Fathers. When's the last time that you went to confession, brother? Oh, you gotta go confess your sinning. Everything's sin, 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 sin. But what does the son of Aaron do? He comes and he begins to tell you, okay, this is what sin is, but this is what you need to do to how many people are teaching you what is not sin and how not to sin, which is just missing the mark. You're missing the mark of your desires, your wants. This stuff is built in you. This is your default settings as human beings, to have desires, to have wants, to have needs, to dream and to have visions, and keep dreaming, and to be a dreamer of dreams. Nothing wrong with that. But mind control tells you, oh, that's all sin, brother. You're going to hell. God will never hear you. God is hiding his face from you. Bunch of mumbo jumbo. So to get back to the presence and connect to the divine presence in this wonderful body that you've been given on this earth. To be given and to be given life. I mean, the breath of life was breathed into you to animate you. And to give you the ability to choose and to think and to dream. And not to be dictated by your mind and mind control. And, oh, well, pastor said I must do this, so pastor's right. I must follow what pastor says, or my rabbi says this, I must do this, blah, 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 blah. Before you know it, you're shackled and you're hoodwinked and you're bamboozled and you're just dragged down and worn out by the religious mumbo-jumbo, that you cannot be free. When the laws of Moses were enacted for the universes to be free, for people here on this earth to live free, to have life, and that life more abundantly. Yet other folks want to come to this room and tell you, oh no, we're not to be rich. We're to be rich in every area of our life. If that's your desire to be rich. Now truly, if it's your desire to be poor, then I tell you best endeavors and pursue your poorness. If that's your desire. Because God forbid, I don't want you to miss the mark. Your mark. Your mark is what you make. Not what man has created for you in their sin model. No. Your mark is what you make. What you desire, what you want, what you don't want, what you don't desire. I mean, my goodness. We've been hoodwinked and bamboozled for too long. And I'm so happy and grateful for the fact that light has truly shined and shone upon me, for sure, to where I can see consciously that my subconscious is woken up and has been identified within me. That the I am is within me. I am successful. I am a millionaire. I am healthy. What are you saying about yourself this day? I am peace. I am love. I am joy. Kohen talked about, and he did send me this week, my goodness, this great testimony of this man. My goodness. I'm going to give you his book, because I pre-ordered his book. You can on Amazon, by the way. You can pre-order his book. The name of the book is called Homeless to Billionaire. The 18 Principles of Wealth Attraction and Creating Unlimited Opportunity. You see, the unlimited opportunity is already there. You just have to reel it in, like Rabbi Kefa talks about, the great fisherman that he is. You just have to reel it in. You don't have to do any more creating. The creating is finished. Everything is like there for you. You just have to open the door to it so that it can rain upon you. You have to just attract it. Whatever your desire is, you don't have to create it. It's already there. Think about this for a minute. I want you to begin to think. And don't let your mind take you to some meadow where you're tiptoeing through the tulips. No, begin to truly think. Get outside of your mind. I'm reading in this book where this guy says, you get outside of your mind and you become a watcher. And you become a witness. That's beautiful. When you get outside of your mind, instead of just being mind-dominated and mind-controlled. And then you can begin to think, and you can begin to have dreams and imaginations and thought, true thought, unadulterated, virgin thought. What a step, right? Well, Rabbi, I've been thinking all these years and thinking. But it's not virgin thought. You've been thinking from the mind perspective. And that's what's failing a lot of people today, is that they truly miss the mark. Because they don't fulfill their desires, their wants. And they only talk about, well, I need. Well, you need to get beyond needing to where you need to get to the point where, you know what? I dream this. I imagine this for myself. And this would make me so happy. This would make me so joyous. This would give me such a peace. What are those things? You're like, well, Rabbi, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I desire. Well, you ask yourself, well, what would make me so joyous? What would make me like super, super excited, super happy? What would give me just such peace? And that's what you need to pursue. I tell you what done it for me. A woman did it for me. I had to find that woman. And she truly brought me peace. And she truly is showing me, still continues to teach me love. And what love really is. Through her loyalty to me. And my loyalty to her both ways. And we develop a partnership. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. A woman is key for me as a man. And for you women, it should be a man for you as well. But not just any old man, Joe Blogg off the street. If your name is Joe, no offense to you. It's a beautiful name, by the way. But back to this from homeless to billionaire guy, you got to get this book. Listen to it. I don't know if he has a TED Talk, but you listen to his story. It's a beautiful story. I mean, this man is literally living under a coconut tree on a beach. Literally. But what he didn't tell you, for you early birds that came into the room, is that as he was attracting, and as you know, the whole point of when his friend sent him this book, he was so angry when he said he was so angry when his friend, instead of giving him some money so he could survive, because that's what your mind tells you. Oh man, I just need money. Money will help me eat and survive. His friend sends him this book, and he's so angry, like, what the hell am I going to do with a book? What is this book going to do for me? So, in his anger, he said, you know what? My whole purpose was to disprove the book. He said, I'm going to read the book, and I'm going to follow the book, and I'm going to prove to my friend that this book is wrong. And he should have sent me some money instead, so I can eat. But his anger to disprove the book, he realized that when he would do these things, just like the book said, things begin to happen just like the book said. And you know, one of the key things that I got from that, Hakoin, from listening to this man, and you're right, Hakoin, you got to listen to it several times, and you'll learn more, you'll gain more from it. He said, I didn't start off asking for $1 million. He said, I started off small. And then when I got that coffee, he said he envisioned himself getting coffee, thought about coffee and how good it was going to taste. He could see the coffee. He could see himself stirring the coffee. And a cup of coffee is what he started to visualize and attract first was coffee, Miss Bob. This man is living under a coconut tree. He said, I'm going to visualize it. I'm going to attract someone bringing me coffee. I'm going to imagine someone bringing me coffee. And sure enough, a couple of days later, one of the surfer teachers out there on the beach said, I see you sitting in the coconut tree. Let me get you a cup of coffee. Oh, no, that's just a coincidence. So then he, still doubting Thomas, his name is Thomas, no offense. So he said, well, remember, he said, I'm going to start small, with small things. Attracting things into their life because they start off so big. And when big don't happen fast, then they give up and they quit. And they say, oh, you see, because then their mind control comes in. You see, I told you this was going to work. See, I told you it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. So then his next thing was, somebody's going to give me lunch. Somebody's going to, and he imagined this meal he was eating. Every entree on the plate, he imagined it. And he kept visualizing it. And he kept thinking about it. That's all he would think about. He would think about that meal. Oh, man, that meal's going to be so good. And what he was drinking and how the table was arranged. And he would imagine all of that. You see, imagination is key. The mind is a wonderful tool, but use it as a tool. Don't let it dominate you and control you and tell you what you're going to do and tell you that you're going to have cancer, you're going to die, and blah, 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 blah. The mind will take you down a rabbit hole that, many folks don't get out of on this earth. In their whole life walking this earth, they never come out of it. Sad but true. True statement, right? This is why all of you are so blessed that you have such a great opportunity this day. Shabbat. Now, if you're here in this room, you're not here by happenstance. Everything in life comes to you on your ability to be able to choose what you want to do, what you want to receive. Remember, you're a transmitter in the planet is made up of atoms, just arranged differently. You come from the father of us all, Adam, Bukashem. You have so much power. You have unlimited power available to you. How you use that power, how you harness it, that's on you. But what you're learning here from the Kohen, what we're learning is how to use it, the how-to. How to apply in my life today in 2019. How do I apply this? How do I take this and make my life better and fulfill my desires, my wants, my needs? Well, Mr. Andres here, Pyra, P-I-R-A, Andres. You ought to get his book. It'll be out in a few months, I think. But you can pre-order on Amazon. From homeless to billionaire. Not millionaire, billionaire. And what was the change? Wasn't it an external change? No, it was an internal change. His thought process totally changed. He began to change certain things. And so, yeah, then he did get the meal, by the way. The meal came to him from a co-worker he used to work with. He bumped into him. He said, hey, I ain't seen you in a while. Come on, let me take you out to eat. And then he was like, wait a minute. There's something to this. This is not just a coincidence. Mr. Andres began to reel it in. He reeled in everything. It was already there. He just had to bring it in, attract it into his life. His desire was to get a meal. And he got that meal just like he imagined. When he was eating that meal, he's like, wow, something to this. And then he kept going on and on. But what Hakohen did tell you in the part of his testimony is this. Is that, yeah, he became successful. He was moving up the echelons in the real estate business in his country. And then he made some bad investments and some bad deals. And then he stopped thinking. He stopped imagining. He stopped his routine with his rituals and what he was doing in the morning. He began to stop that because he began to get successful, became busy and blah, blah, blah. And guess what? He lost it all. He had to file for bankruptcy. He lost it. And then he remembered, oh, my first love. I got to go back to doing what I was doing when I was homeless. And then he began, listen, he lost it all. He filed for bankruptcy. His businesses, they went into bankruptcy, bad deals. He said he made bad investments. And he ended up losing it all. And then guess what? He went right back to his first love. He went right back to doing what he did when he was homeless underneath that coconut tree. I'm telling you, I wanted a great testimony. I was like, wow. This is going to be a requirement reading in the Keep Up in Yahweh. And Lamont home, oh, children going to read this book. For sure. You see, but a great lesson in that is because, yeah, he missed the mark, lost it all, but guess what? The book isn't called Homeless to Billionaire by coincidence. It's that he, because of that experience, he realized, okay, yeah, I made a mistake. I can't forget what got me here, and I got to continue. You got to continue to elevate. You got to continue to cultivate your imaginations, your thoughts, your dreams. Don't throw away the Indiana Jones act. Once you, oh well, yeah, this is it. Then it stops here. Oh, I'm happy here. Blah blah blah. No, you have to continue to cultivate the mind. Continue to cultivate your manifestations because they're going to change, right? Once you line out one goal, on your diary, on your journal, then your other goals will come up. But you know what I like about Mr. Andres is he said this as well, was really stuck with me. He said, you know what? Each time that I wanted to imagine myself, being somebody else, it wasn't just about imagination. Then Mr. Andres says, it's important that you take action. Yeah, he said, yeah, you can imagine, and you can go through your mantras and your routines and do all your meditations, but then you must take action. You know what he said? He said, yeah, I wanted to move up. I wanted to be the manager at this real estate company. And then he said, you know what I did? He said, I just looked at the managers, and I looked at how they dressed, I looked at what they did, and I began to mimic and replicate exactly what they did. He said, I didn't do anything different. He said, I just did what the people that I wanted to be was doing. I began to dress like them. I began to talk like them. I began to follow their mannerisms. Do you see? And he said, before you know it, I was them. Because I did everything that they did. This is why I tell you, you want to be successful, look at successful people. One of the law of attraction, big rules, and I tell you, golden rule is this: who do you listen to? And that's what a lot of people miss attracting. They miss manifestations because they're not connected to the right source. That they don't have the good mentor for them. Who do you listen to? I mean, so Mr. Andres began to he basically cloned himself into whatever he wanted to be, whatever he saw that position that he wanted to be. He began to do exactly what they were doing. Dress exactly like how they dressed. Talk exactly like how they talk. And before you know it, he was them. So again, it requires action as well. When they began to talk about, well, you know, yeah, you have these, you know, you have these manifestations and thoughts and desires. Then he began to say, well, then how do you do it? How are you going to do it? It's just like, okay, you want to, your desire, you envision yourself winning the lottery, right? But how are you going to win the lottery when you don't take action and go to that corner store there and buy a lottery ticket? You see, it requires you taking upon some action upon yourself. Yeah, you saying you want that mate that looks like Denzel, and you just have it all scripted out. Well, this is how my husband's going to look. He's going to have this. But you never leave the focus. You don't go to, you know, maybe like a Starbucks or maybe even you know, even a little bar or somewhere where you can go out and socialize and meet different people. To where you can run into the man. You think the man is going to come in an Amazon box? I love you, Jeff Bezos, but I don't think the man is dropping off men and women ready-made order. Last time I checked. I mean, Amazon is quite technologically savvy, but I don't think they're doing that yet, right? Dropping men and women out of chimneys, ready-made order. Just click a button and you know, if your mate is going to turn up. I don't think that's happening as of yet. So you must take action. This is why you've been given great opportunity here with this widow over there in the east to take action. Right? You do yourself being first witness. You're being a watcher of yourself now. Because now you're outside of yourself and you're looking at yourself. You see, you can't point the finger at nobody else. You have to self-assessment. Oh, now we have this opportunity to help this widow improve her life. She desires to have a taxi. Just like Andres desired to have a cup of coffee. Did the cup of coffee fall down from the heavens? Pray tell, it did not. Another human being came and brought him a cup of coffee. Do you see it? You see, mind control will tell you, oh, God is going to bring that man to you, and he's going to come down from heavens, and the skies are going to open up. Oh, Rabbi, I envision this. And he's going to come down, floating on an angel's wings. And he's going to say, Lolita, I love you, Lolita. I'm the one that has been sent to be your mate, Lolita. And we're going to live happily ever after. That's a bunch of mumbo-jumbo. You've been Hollywood-winked into something. Humans help humans. We're all atoms. We're all on this earth together as one. Dump that religion foolishness. Oh, you're this religion, so I can't help you. Oh, your hair is straight, so I can't help. Oh, because you don't have dreadlocks, I can't help you. Oh, because of this color of your skin, I cannot help you. Oh, best endeavors, but you're not getting nothing from me. Are you kidding me? Now all of you have another great opportunity. The son of Aaron, the Kohen in the gate, priest of Israel, is giving you an opportunity to do great, to open up, to unlock those doors of your desires. Because the desires are already there. Your thoughts and your dreams, they're already there for you. You don't have to create that. Law of attraction will tell you, oh, you got to create this and create. No, you don't have to create anything. Creating is finished. Baruch Hashem. Creation is finished. You just have to manifest. You just have to attract. You manifest, attract, desire, think, envision. Wow, isn't this good stuff? And it all happens within you. Churches won't tell you this because they have an agenda. Is to leave you hoodwinked, bamboozled, and run around here like loose chickens. Run around here like sheep with no shepherd. Yet they tell you we have a shepherd. Yes, I am your pastor. You go out there and graze on this grass and I'll be your pastor. Yes, I'm your priest. You come to me with all of your problems. No, you can solve your own problems. You have it within you. You have the DNA of El Shaddai. You can solve you have the I am within you. You don't have to go searching for the I am. The I am is within inside of you. The kingdom of heavens is within you. You don't have to wait for it to fall upon you. Or wait for you to be caught up, beat me up, Scotty. Oh, yeah, I'm coming up. Oh, the rapture's finally here. Just like the pastor said. Well, it's not going to happen. Newsflash, I don't mean to bust your bubble, but it's not happening that way, Mishpachah. So now you all have great opportunities to do wonderful things for yourself. Whatever those wonderful things are. What makes you feel wonderful? Ask yourself that. You don't have to text it in. No keyboard warriors over here. Just ask yourself, what makes you feel? What makes you love? I tell you, if you're running after a feeling, what makes you feel good? Some people run after feelings, you see. Some people run after feelings. What makes you feel good? What gives you that feel-good moment? Well, when I do something for others. Well, here's the opportunity for you to do for others. But Rabbi, you don't understand. I don't know these people. And blah, blah, blah. And you have all these excuses. That's you. That's your mind still dominating you. You see, because your mind wants to process everything. And in processing everything, you truly miss the mark. You truly miss being able to do a great work because you're still trying to understand it. Oh, I got to process. When you need to be present. You just need present. Oh, woman needs help. Oh, I'm present. Here. This is my energy that I'm going to send. You're sending energy because remember, money's not an object. It's energy. It's energy. How much energy you going to send? Well, that's a good question. Well, how much energy do you want back? These are universal laws. People call it karma. They give it all kind of names depending on where you geographically located in the world. Some people call it yin and yang. But whatever you give out, that's what comes back. I call it transmit and receive. Because I understand that I'm a receiver. I'm energy. How many of you in this room are energy? Claim it. Anybody in this room energy? Claim it. You better, you got to claim it. Don't, your energy. Claim it. You got to see yourself as energy. If you don't, you're never going to be. And be, and your being, be is present. This might seem like an ethonic language, but I be present. I be. Stop with your responses, by the way. Those of you who are still on the fence, then please get off of it. But you need to understand that your energy. You got to claim energy. You got to know that you are energy. Wow. And I'll tell you, Aaron understood this principle. He understood this. Because in our parsha, in this parsha, I'm going to read it in a minute, Aaron loses 2 children. Wow. And yet, what is the testimony given by Aaron? What does the Torah tell us that Aaron, how did he respond to that? Well, he understood about energy, vibration. Before I keep going on, please go get that book, Homeless to Billionaire. A book that will really, I mean, the man not at one time mentioned anything about a religion. Last time I checked, you can correct me on that if I'm wrong. But not one single time did he mention anything about a religion or what a pastor said or blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Everything was internalized. He had to do, he thought about some things and then he went out and acted. That's all it was. No time in there did I hear a Christianity, I hear Islam, I hear a Jew, I didn't hear any of that. Non-denominational, Catholic, he never said none of that stuff. Never mentioned any of that in his testimony. But he did say I had to act. I thought and I acted. I thought and I acted. He changed his total way of thinking, Mishpachah. Beautiful thing. Beautiful. So today, to connect to the Creator of the heavens and the universes, we must have the same thing. This is why, Hakohi is absolutely right when he tells us, you know what, you have to listen to things that'll uplift you, that'll motivate you. Remember the law of attraction, golden rule, who do you listen to? Who are you listening to? Are you listening to, Dr. Phil? Or Dr. Feel Good? Or are you listening? Because you gotta know what you want. And then you have to have the willingness to change. Because a lot of things are going to have to change. Because your mind, you've been dictated by your mind for so long, and your mind told you that you must do things this way. And that's a bunch of hogwash. Excuse the pun. I have nothing against Porky Pig. He has his purpose. He's made up of atoms as well. So I'm not going to run Porky Pig under the bus. Porky Pig is an awesome machine, right? Great cleaner. Believe me. I've seen a pig eat anything. I've seen it for myself. So we must understand. We must begin to, truly think about things. Quit trying to understand things and begin to think, envision. Truly where you want to be. Truly what makes you happy. What do you desire? What do you want? Who do you listen to? And am I willing to change? Andres he said, okay, I'm going to listen to that. See, I want to be at that director's position in this real estate market. So I'm going to watch this director. It's like, hey, you get good books. Get these books. About people that already have what you want. And then she began to replicate it. It's real easy. The model, see, Andres, he started to make money, he became successful, then he lost it all, went bankrupt. That proves to me a point that, you know what, the law of the universes is not just a one-off thing. If you mess up, guess what? You go back, apply it, and the same results will happen. They're universal. They don't change. Just like our unchanging God, right? That we're learning about. The divine presence. The eternal presence. Oh, shit. Good stuff, right, Mishpah? This is great stuff. So we see this with Andres. I would encourage you all to listen to his testimony. You're messy. You might have to let go of that webcam, please. We don't use those here. If you can turn it off, I'd appreciate it.
Please enter your PIN followed by the hash key.
So here we go. Let's keep it moving. These teachings will change your life, because a lot of folks, this instruction will change your life, because many people are here on this earth and they don't have any kind of life. I was talking about this earlier with the early birds that were in the room. They're living, but they don't have life. You understand what I'm saying? You're living, but you have no life. You have no substance to yourself. You're not meeting your desires. You don't know how to meet your desires, so you stay in this negative mode. Negative energy is your baseline. And it's really, when you look at this, I scratch my head doing my 6 days of labor. I look at this and I see this all around me. And I tell you what, 90% of the time, these people are all affiliated to a religion. And I'm like, wow, my goodness. And it's those people that have no affiliation with religion, I'll put it to you bluntly. Those that don't go to church on Sunday, they seem to have a better life. I don't know. Oh, wow. They don't go to church on Sunday and they have a wonderful life. They believe in an eternal power, but they're not up in Sunday church. And their life just seems to be, they're so happy with themselves. And they have desires and they meet those desires. And I say, best endeavors to them. And I celebrate and I rejoice in their success. What is success for you? What is success for you? It may be different than what success is for me. Like we were talking about earlier, success for you may be that husband, maybe that wife. And believe me, that is success. When you find that husband and a wife, you're on the road to success, baby. Maybe that success for you may be that house, maybe that nice car, maybe having all your big, maybe having that wonderful job that you always wanted. What do you want? That dream job, they call it. Maybe that dream vacation. Where you want to go? Hawaii? I can see you in that skirt now. Come on, let's do it together. Do a little hula hula, put a little skirt on, schmocky schmocky, hooly hooly. Got that little coconut drink with the straw in it. Start to imagine that. Imagine yourself doing these things. Oh, you can't. Why? It's because your mind is shutting you down. Oh, that rabbi's talking a bunch of mumbo jumbo. He's telling me I need to dream. Yes, you need to be a dreamer and a dreamer of dreams. And you need to have desires and wants. This is truly what sin is. When you miss your mark of the things that you want for yourself. You miss the mark. Don't miss your mark, Mishpah. Please don't miss your mark. So, you all know the story here in Shemini, parsha. Aaron loses 2 sons because they did not do what was said for them to do. And they missed the mark. You all have the opportunity. Why? It's because you're seekers and you're searchers and you want more out of life than what you've been given. Some of you may say, yeah, seems like, Rabbi, life has dealt me a deck of cards and you don't like it. You want to turn in that hand. And you're right, with the conditioning that you've been getting and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And you want a better life for yourself. And you have desires and wants. But every time you try to do something, you're being torn down. Oh, maybe you even tearing yourself down. And you explain it away with every excuse under the sun why you cannot be successful and meet your mark and make your mark instead of falling short from your mark. Throw the excuses out the window this day. I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader. Always will be. I'm going to celebrate you in your success. And I'm going to celebrate you in your failures, because failure breeds what? More success. Andre's story I just told you did that. He failed. He went bankrupt. As he went from coconut tree liver to owning, real estate and apartment complexes and hotels and all this. And then he went bankrupt. The world, your mind will tell you, oh, you're a failure. Now, Andre said, no, I'm going to just go back to my default settings. I'm going to go back to the first love. And I'm begin to do what? Begin to call it in again. Begin to manifest it. I'm going to begin to attract it. The universe is unlimited. The mind will put limitations on you, but the universe is unlimited. You need to begin to think with unlimited mentality. There is no limit to what you can have. You can never take all out of the universe and nobody else can have none. That's not the case. There's enough for everybody on this planet Earth. And then there'll be some left over for the Martians and all those other alien species out there. There's enough for everyone. Unlimited. Can you imagine that? Some of you can't right now. Because your mind is minimal. It has you in minimal mode, all these M words. But your mind has you in minimal mode. Oh, the bare minimum will be fine. No, you're infinitely abundant. You're connected to the power source. The eternal presence. I love that description of the life source. Is an eternal presence. It's eternal. The present, he's always present. Always. How come we can't develop that mentality for ourselves? But this is when you're going to see what I see with Aaron. I'm telling you. Let's look at this shemini. You all know the story. Anybody, you all tell the story. What happens to Aaron's two sons? Can anybody tell me? What happens to them? His two elder sons. Well, what happens to them? Anybody? You read the story? You read your parsha? Or you know the story because you done read the Bible about 50,000 times. You read the Bible once a year, every year, and blah 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 and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, what does that do for you, right? Start with your responses, by the way. And look at this instruction. It's quite instructional. For the folks that are here in this room, the majority of the time when response is required, the women always seem to respond first. I don't know how many of you notice this, but I pay attention to things like this. Because it's the little things that mean a lot. And it's quite instructional as a student of nature to look at these things. Majority of the time, women are always the first to respond. And when they respond more in numbers when we look at the ratio factor as well. Because I love numbers as well. I'm a lover of numbers. I am a lover of numbers. And I like big numbers, by the way. The eternal life source is a lover of numbers as well. So I think it's very, very important that we look at factors. And your response is so very important. And it tells a lot about yourself and where you are. You see? They say silence is golden. So is response. Response is golden. I remember growing up, when my father would ask me something, I would have but a few seconds to respond. And if I did not respond within that allotted time, then I would anticipate some profusely pain coming my way. Because why? I wasn't paying attention. I was not paying attention, and believe me, that hint would put me right at attention. I would become infinitely present. I go very quickly. Omnipresent. Eternal presence. Oh, I was there then. And sometimes, yeah, okay, I'm talking about a hit here. Yes, my father was hit. Because I deserved to be hit. Because that was the shock and awe that I needed to snap me out of what I was going, the path that I was going down, to put me at attention. And for Andres here, with his story, what was it? Bankruptcy slapped him in the face. And it brought him back to what? Attention. He didn't stop and stay in the pity pit. Oh, I'm bankrupt. Oh, the man got me down. Oh, the man got me down, and I'm going to stay. No, he didn't. So when we look at our situations in our lives, some of you call them problems, experiences, whatever name you put on them. That's that shock factor. That sometimes the universes will give you shock factor to put you back at default setting. Put you back at default. So that you can begin to do what? So you can learn from your experience and you can gain and even get better. So don't see your situation as the end all. I just don't know how I'm going to get out of this hot mess. You will get out of it and you will be successful. Because you need to tell yourself that. But if you don't tell yourself that, how are you going to ever make it real? If you don't begin to manifest that with inside of you. This is why when I asked how many of you are energy and only a handful of people responded, I'm like, wait a minute. Attention. You need to be attentive. You need to be present. You need in the now. You need to be here now. You see? Now. What do you desire for yourself now? What do you want for yourself? You know, if you don't understand, I just had this breakup. Oh, you don't understand, Rabbi? I got these bills coming, and they talking about taking my house. How you want me to be in the now when I have to think about what happened in the past, or when I have to think about what's going to happen in the future? That's where you're messing up. You need to make yourself omnipresent now. And begin to understand the bigger picture, because your mind is truly dominating you and telling you what you need to do and what you need to worry about. You need to have no worries whatsoever. You just need to be omnipresent. You need to be now. To connect to the eternal presence. How many of you in this room want to connect to the eternal presence? Anybody in this room want to connect to the eternal presence? Or is it just me? I'm here by myself because I'll be glad to connect to the eternal presence by myself. I will be very happy. I'll be very grateful for that point. You see? Eternal presence. You all have the ability to connect to the eternal presence. You've been given that ability here by the Son of Aaron. The eternal presence, the I am, is within you. You see, because in mind control, there are limits. Limitations. There are the minimums. And then there are the maximums. This is what mine to tell you. But I'm here today to tell you that you serve an unlimited God who has no limitations. So then why do we put limitations on ourselves? Why do we put bare minimums on ourselves? We shouldn't. We shouldn't. We should not. Yet we do. See, the mind will tell you, and you've been taught, how many of you have been taught this? Yeah, you're gonna be born and then you will die. How many of you have been taught that? You're going to be born and then you're going to die. What you do in between there is up to you. But this is your life. You will be born and you will die. Anybody taught that in this room? And I tell you, especially here in North America, there's this fear of death. Or people fear death. Because they see it as, this is the beginning and then this is the end. Well, last time I checked, and for all you Bible believers, you've been told that, you know, the eternal presence tells you that he is the Aleph and the Tav. He is the beginning and the ending. Yet he is the eternal presence. So what is he telling you? Is that there is no end. Do you understand? Think about this for a minute. You see, death and that fear of death has been, let's just say, dangling over a lot of people. and what it does is it prevents them from living a wonderful, beautiful life here on this earth and contributing to the collective, meaning the power source, and contributing to the eternal presence. What is the description given in our books about death? What are we told? When God tells our ancestors that they're going to die, Master Yahweh, how does he say it? He say, okay, Abraham, it's time for you to die. What does he say? Can anybody tell me? How are our ancestors, okay, your extension on this earth, how is it explained? Anybody tell me? Yael 1:10 says sleep. Any other responses on how does the Creator, how was Moses told is he going to die? How was Aaron told he's going to die? You understand what I'm saying? Look at the terminology that's used here. You begin to understand something. Rest, sleep. Do you see it? Is that like an end? Because last time I checked, when you go to sleep at night, what happens? Do you stay asleep? I mean, think about this for a minute. But yet, your mind will tell you, you have an infinite amount of time that you're going to live. Think about this for a minute. And yet, this death factor is hanging over a lot of people. And it's actually a stumbling block that's preventing them from making the mark. Because they so fear death when you shouldn't. Because you don't die. You come from the eternal presence. Think about this for a minute. You see, I'm setting the stage here for Aaron's understanding. Now I want you to start to see, this is how Aaron understood this. As we talk about death, right? Aaron had a connection to the universes. He had a mindset about him. Aaron and his sons, I see it with Akoin as well. Why do you think they're teaching us, true? Again, we're going to be taught this by Aaron and his sons. It's in this parsha. Shemini tells us this as well. It's Aaron and his sons' responsibility to teach the children of Israel. This is a particular mindset. It's being able to truly operate in your subconscious. Because I'm telling you, if you're dominated by the mind, anybody that loses two sons, my goodness, how do you think they're gonna be? Just putting a prescription refill because I'm dealing with depression and blah 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 and blah blah blah. But Aaron knew. Aaron had an understanding of life, that life don't end at conception or at death. It don't end. Aaron's sons, he understood they missed their mark. So they have to deal with consequences of missing the mark, right? But then they say, Aaron, he wept and he was in mourning and, he never recovered from that. Let's read it because I just want to make sure that everybody understands that I'm not just blowing smoke up the chimney. Leviticus chapter 10, verse 3. And Moshe, again, I read from the Hidden Truth Break Scrolls. If you don't have the Hidden Truth Break Scrolls, please circulate and make a purchase on Amazon or on lulu.com. This will really help you. For all of you who consider yourselves students of the Bible, you do Bible study, this will really enhance and really help you with understanding what the eternal presence desires and aspires for the creation that he made here on this earth and has given dominion to. here on this earth. Leviticus chapter 10, verse 3. And Moshe said to Aaron, this is the word of Yahweh. This is what the word of Yahweh said. I will be holy through the actions of those who I have brought closer to me, and before all the people I will be glorified. And Aaron held his shalom. Wow. Wow. Times of total, what the mind would conceive as disaster. How many of you, how many of you have had a situation to where you had someone that has passed on, someone that has died, and maybe you went to a funeral, or maybe this was even you. You went to a funeral of someone that died, and they didn't cry. Any of you? Any of you ever experienced that, or maybe even seen it to where you're at a funeral and someone has died, passed on, and somebody didn't cry. Maybe it's you. You didn't cry. You didn't cry. You wasn't all hysterical, or these people. You like, well, and everybody else is looking at them like, oh, why ain't that person crying? You ever notice that? Oh, look at this person. They're not crying. And they may think, already prejudging or judging these people like, well, they're not showing respect to the person because they're not crying for that person. Because they're just not, flailing on the ground. Oh, they go! Oh, Howard, why you laughing, Howard? You know how they do the dramatic. They say, no, you had not one good word for Howard. If your name is Howard, no offense, and my deal life work. You're going to enjoy life to its fullest and full abundance to you. But when Howard was alive, you had not two good words to put together for Howard. You ignored Howard. Howard needed your help and aid and assistance, and you ignored Howard. Oh, but now that Howard's laying in the casket over there, now you flailing on the ground. Oh, Howard, why you laughing, Howard? Oh, Howard, I miss you. Oh, you know how they do. But again, we look at Aaron, Aaron held his shalom. He held his peace. Now, you may not be going through the death of a person. You know what I'm saying? Well, please don't misconstrue this and say, well, Rabbi Kefa was saying that not to cry if someone dies close to me. I'm not saying that. But what I want you to understand is this, is that death is not the end all. Aaron understood. Oh, yeah, death is just a phase, and we all going to go through it. Death is not to be feared. It's a process in the whole scheme. It's a bigger picture. But what your mind will tell you is that you were born and you'll die, and then that's it. So you need to cherish this life like you need to embrace it and hang on to it and spend every day worried about dying and not living. You know what I mean? This is how the mind will have you. And the nations don't do you any justice either. Because then you start running with all these conspiracy theories. Oh, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't do this, don't do that. You're going to die, you're going to die. I'm telling you this day to be happy. Do what makes you happy. Do what gives you joy. Do what gives you love. Do what gives you peace. We're told of Aaron. Thank you for this good Texas water. This water that comes from the aquifers. I give thanks to the universes for this good Texas water. My goodness. Everything is better in Texas. I'm just being partial, by the way. But we look at Aaron, we're told of Aaron that Aaron had his peace. He held his peace. Some of you may be going through death of finances, death of a relationship, death of a job. Silence is another facility of presence. You see the similarity there? Silence, to be present, to be in the now, is to be silent. Silent is golden. It's a great character trait that you need to enact within your I am, within your subconscious, is to be quiet. Silence, Mishpah. How many of you understand what I'm saying? Give you a scenario. Somebody's just cussing you up and down the block. In your face, pointing their finger at you. What's the best way to remedy this situation? Sometimes it comes from the husband and the wife. Sometimes it comes from a family member, sibling. And they're in your face, and they're antagonizing you, and they're running your festivity meter off the charts. And what are you going to do in that moment? You see, when you can look outside of yourself, and you can be a witness and be a watcher of yourself, then you can analyze. See, you know what that requires? That requires you to be silent. When your boss comes up to you and tells you, look, I'm firing you today, you're not going to have a job tomorrow. When your wife tells you, look, I want a divorce, silence is golden. How many of you have been guilty and fell into that trap of not being silent, but actually, put your 2 cents into the picture, and you realize, oh my goodness. Because I tell you what, I'm really having a great. I'm scripting all this, but I'm really having a great bond with my daughter, who's 14 years old. She's from China, and now she's in America. She's a freshman in high school in America. I mean, I tell you, I could write a book on her. But her life is it's a paradigm shift. Her life is totally changed. Totally changed. And I'm scripting all this stuff, and I give thanks to the universe. Now, let me just give you a little quick testimony. Okay, this is so. I mean, manifestation and living in the now and being present and truly living in presence, in that present mode. Things are just, your desires are just going to come to you. Let me tell you this. My daughter, she left China. She had a piano in China, in her house in China. She had a piano, so she could practice playing. But she was never able to really play that on it because she was always in school. But now she's in America, and now she's taking music classes, and actually she's playing the violin. In high school, they don't have like a piano orchestra in a piano. They just have violins and all the other instruments, but no piano. But get this, Mishpah. This is us scripted. I've been scripting this. I told her, when we get our next house, we're going to have a piano in the house, and you can teach our son to play the piano with your brother, and if you could play the piano as well. But get this. This is what she's done. Check this out. So, yeah. The music teacher called me at the high school. He said, yeah, we have this piano here. It plays just like a piano, but it's like a keyboard, but it's tuned and it plays just like a piano, and it's just sitting over here. And I want your daughter to have it for free. Put it in your house. Can you come pick it up? Just yesterday, can you come pick it up and set it up in your daughter's house? He said, I've never done this before. She's the first one to be able to do this. I'm like, thank you to the universe. It's giving great. I'm like, wow. There's a piano in my daughter's room right now. Right now. Presence, Mishpah. And then, I'm just sitting there listening to this, the music teacher at the high school. He says, I've never done this before. He said, but I'm doing this now. She can have the piano for as long as she wants. And, I want her piano skills are really good. I want her to get better. And I just have all these dreams for her to do great things with the piano. And playing the piano can take her very far. And I'm like, thank you. He said, thank you very much. God bless you for what you're doing. He said, there's something about your daughter. It's just something. I said, thank you very much. And you see, not even in our new home yet we already have a piano. Thank you to the universe. And you script this stuff, you call it in, and it comes forth. You didn't have to create the piano was already there at the high school. Now it's in my daughter's room right now. She's playing and she's happy. She's playing Chopin, and she's very Mr. Hart, this is not made up. This is real life stuff. It happened for that homeless man, Andres. It happens for me. It happens for the Koi. It will happen for you as well. But there's a certain ingredient that must be met. You must meet the ingredient, and having a peace about you, having to be silent and just let the universes create and let the universes bring it in for you. You just call it in. I didn't have to create a piano. The piano's here. And I give thanks to the universes. And I'm so happy and I'm so grateful for the fact that there's a piano in my house now. And a violin. I'm telling you, thank you to the universes. And my daughter's happy. At the end of the day, I want my daughter to be happy, and she's happy. And I ask her, are you happy? Are you happy? This is important, to be happy. Life fulfilled. Not missing the mark. You understand? We don't want to miss the mark. Joy, peace, happiness. Let's not miss the mark. Now, however you find that, that's how you find it. However you find it, in whatever way you find that. It may not be with an instrument. It may be with something else. Some of you may be having a house with a garden, so you can go out there and work on your green tooth and green thumb and put all these beautiful roses and flowers on there. Whatever it is for you. You don't have to sit there and pull your hair out. Oh, how's this going to get done? Just stay present. Continue to write your scripts as you want them. Continue to write your desires you want. Continue to journal. Continue to go through your rituals that's empowering you and recharging you for the day. And you'll start seeing things just come to you. They will just come to you. I couldn't even script it. Well, yeah, I want to have another teacher call me, the music at the high school, and give me a piano. I couldn't script that. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. You just act. You understand? Because it may happen to you in some unforeseen kind of way, to where you couldn't even script it that way if you would have wanted to. But it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, whatever you desired is there in front of you. No matter what road it took to get there, that doesn't matter. You see? Think about that for a minute. Too many times your mind wants to keep you, well, how is that going to happen? You see, that's putting up the walls of failure. Because when it doesn't happen that way, then guess what? Then you say, oh, I give up because it didn't happen that way. Oh, well, why is that going to happen to me when I'm X amount of years time? Your mind is telling you, you cannot be successful. Oh, because I'm too young. Oh, because I'm too old. No, you're not. You're ageless. Think about that for a minute. You're ageless. Infinitely present. So when you look at those that have passed on and gone on before you, yes, remember them and invoke them, because they're still there. They're just in a different form. They're not like dead and gone and, oh, the end. But you see, that's what your mind will tell you. So when you run into these situations, but maybe you will deal with a physical death in your family, don't see that person as gone. They just change form. That's all. And they still live through you and in you by what you learned from them and what you were taught from them. How many of you have learned something from a decision? I'm just remembering, I was talking to my wife yesterday about my grandmother, who's no longer with me, but she's with me because she taught me many great things. And she still lives through me. Why? It's because I continue those great things that she taught me. And yes, she did get me with the switch a couple of times because I deserved that. I needed that discipline. I needed that shock and awe factor to put me back at attention. They said, Rabbi, you condoning whipping. No, I'm not, because I tell you what, Punishments were the worst. That was the worst. My father said, nah, I'm going to quit giving you the old paddle, the old belt. That's not effective anymore. Because you consider yourself a man now. He said, I'm just going to take away the things that you love. How many of you know about that? Take away the things. Woo-wee. I would rather get that belt any day of the week. But he began to take away the things that I love most to do. My desires. You see where you go? That was very smart. Take away your desires, and I'll put you at attention real quick. Take away what you love. Take away what you want. And even at that point, I was a big chocolate fan. No chocolate. Even though I still did go to 7-Eleven on the side and get my chocolate anyway, but there was no chocolate in the house. I'm Willy Wonka. Oh, can't go outside and play with the friends in the neighborhood. We had a neighborhood basketball goal. We'd all, go out and play, after we finished our homework and had dinner with the family. That was routine. Under the street light. How many of you know them days? Under the street, we had this basketball goal that was set up right on the street. You remember them days? So all the neighborhood children would be out. So everybody would go knock on everybody's door. Oh, yeah, come out. No, he's not coming out. He's in punishment. Matter of fact, he in there washing dishes. I was like, man. My father's giving my friends the 3rd degree. I tell you, I'd rather I was like, man, let me go get that cow leather belt and you commence. Because I'm telling you, that was worse than the punishments. My goodness, no, oh man. Begin to take away the things that you love. Begin to take away the things that you like, your desires. You see, that's what happens with the mind. The mind, when you're under mind control, it'll begin to do that. It'll take away to where you're just a shell of your I am. And your I am is over there collecting dust. Can't put heads or tails together. You don't even know where you're coming, you're going. Well, what does my mind say I'm going to do? Well, that's what I'm going to do because I got to follow my mind. So when it seems like everything around you, like you're losing everything, or you take a big loss, it's just setting you up for a big gain. Look at it that way. Oh, my age. No. You're setting yourself up for a big loss. See yourself as a big gain. And you can still be successful. Oh, I'm too young. No, you're not. Oh, I'm too old. No, you're not. These are restrictions, limitations that the mind put on you. Remember, you're unlimited if you're in the I am mode. You see, mind control will keep you out of the I am mode. The two cannot coexist. Either you're going to live in your subconscious and be conscious, or you're going to live unconscious with your mind. And the two are battling each other every day. How many of you know what I'm talking about? How many of you are experiencing those battles between living in your subconscious in the I am mode and then your mind, still trying to play those tricks on you and tell you you can't do nothing. You cannot be successful. Oh, you failed. Don't get up again. Don't keep trying. You're going to just fail again. See, that's your mind trying to keep you down. Don't blame it on the man. It's your mind. That's what the problem is. It's your mind. And they'll chalk it up and they'll tell you, and then it's like, in this life, they want you to rush and try to do everything because you're such in a rush because you want to get everything done before you die. You understand what I'm saying? They put you on this time scale and they try to fast. Oh, you got this. You're supposed to be doing it this at this age, this at this age, this at this. No, you don't. But see, that's what your mind will tell you have to do. Oh, you only should have a baby in your 20s and in your 30s. That's what doctors tell you have to do. Anything beyond that is detrimental to the baby. That's a bunch of mumbo. I don't believe none of that stuff. That's mind control. Well, Pastor said I'm supposed to only marry this man. Then you marry that man and you find out 2 weeks later you got a divorce papers. You're lined up in divorce court. It's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. And you realize that what there was Maybe pastor needs to go out for a pastor and graze on some grass, because the information, the instruction he's giving me is not helping me in one iota. That's what I realized here in San Antonio. With Hagee. Man, Hagee didn't help me in one iota. Hagee just helped, and I thank Hagee because he in his church, because they helped push me over the cliff of mind control. And I began to think for myself, I realized this is just too much. There's got to be more to life than what's being presented here. Life has got to be more to it, and surely there is. And surely I have found that. Thank you. So I think it's very, very, very important to understand these things. That we have great opportunities. If you listen to the instruction, it's very simple. When you go back to the laws of the universe, the universal laws are very, very simple. They're not meant to be complex and difficult. The only way we make them difficult is we try to understand them, instead of just acting upon them. You see, when you try to understand things, then that brings you down the slippery slope of mind control. Then the mind stagnates your I am side, your ability to create, your ability to imagine. It stymies all that and shuts it down. Say, no, you're not going to do that because you're too busy. You're preoccupied. The mind is a preoccupier, if you allow it to be so, instead of using it as the wonderful tool that it is. How many of you in this room are thinkers? Put up a capital T against you. You say, yeah, Rabbi, I'm a thinker. Anybody in this room thinkers? You're thinkers. I'm telling you. See, the mind don't want you to think, but you need to be a thinker. To top of your responses, by the way. You need to be thinkers. Who said this? I think, therefore I am. Who said that? Anybody tell me who said that? I think, therefore I am. I mean, this man had no church affiliation whatsoever. Look at that quote. Google it if you got to. That's a powerful quote. Listen to what he said. I think, therefore I am. That's heavy. Anybody tell me who said that? There you go. Oliver, vive la France. Maybe you should tell some of your compatriots that as they making a mockery of the country over there. You know, I'm telling you. Maybe that'll help snap them out and give them some shock and awe. While the world is looking down on us and saying, who are these people over here? What are these people doing? What are human beings doing? You see? What are they doing? Not a representation of... And you know what? I wonder how tourism in France is doing with all this mumbo-jumbo. Well, people are probably in other countries say, well, I'm not going to be going to that country no time soon. And I guess everybody's flocking to the UK because the pound is just dropping. So, I mean, UK got to be... Oh, matter of fact, it is. UK, London was rated the best capital in the world. London. Imagine that. And I can see that happening. Because now everybody's flocking to there because everything's so cheap. You can get a cheap flight to London now because the dollar, the pound is not as strong as it used to be. So, of course, London is going to be a hot spot, right? Because you can get everything cheap there. You go with your currency in there and it's a lot stronger. I saw that the other day. They were talking about, the best capital in the whole of the world, London. England. I was like, that's great. So, these are things you have to look at. But I think it's so important, Mishpah, that you put a face to your face. You put a positive face to your face. Who you really are, the capacity of you. What makes you, you? Look outside of yourself for a minute. You got to be a witness. I like what this guy says. You know, you got to be a witness. You have to be the watcher of yourself. Because if you're not watching yourself, then you're not a witness to yourself, then who is? You see? Well, the other folks are, what kind of representation are they giving you of yourself? They're telling you about who you are. I mean, you want to invest this life about yourself based upon what other people say you should be, or how you're supposed to be, or who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to feel, who you're supposed to love, what gives you peace, what doesn't give you peace. I mean, that's going to be dictated by somebody else? Oh, God forbid. We need to take control. We need to grab hold of the steering wheel now. And we're doing that now. And we realize what we like, what we desire now. We realize who we are within ourselves now. We realize, wow, I have a subconscious. I can be conscious of my subconscious, and I can be present, and I can have life. All of these words are synonymous. Life, present, now. You see, because until you reach the now, you don't have life. You have a shell of what you call a life, but until you get present, there is no life. Do you understand? I hope you understand that. Now is not yesterday. Oh, I'm just so worried about how my life. See, that's not now. You're not present. And this is why you can't succeed. You can't be successful. You can't manifest. And it's future. Oh, well, yeah, I'm too old to do all that. I can't. And you blame it on your age. No. You're limitless. Why put limitations on yourself? Why shackle yourself? It's because your mind said you had. This is the default setting for humanity. Akoi said something earlier that's very important. He talked about the fact that Israel has been dispersed and scattered into all the nations. Beautiful thing, right? Yeah, but most people's minds are telling, oh, God, why did you put me here? Oh, God, when are you going to come get me? Oh, God, please come back and take us home. Oh, God, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Instead of saying, oh, I'm so happy and grateful that I'm dispersed and scattered in San Antonio, Texas. What a lovely place to be. Thank you to the universe for bringing me here so that I can do productive things and be a great citizen in this environment that I'm in, and do wonderful things, and do great things, and raise up a righteous family, and to meet and make my mark, and to be a light to others around me, and to leave positive energy. Here in this, I'll be grateful and thankful to be in the city. I can bring prosperity, and I can bring abundance, and I can bring peace, and I can bring joy, and I can bring love to my city. See? It's the mindset to make yourself present. Because you serve a what? You serve a infinitely eternal presence, a divine presence. So then you should be present as well. You should be present as well. So just like Aaron faced tragedy, when tragedy came his way in the death of his two sons, You should be silent. You should have your what? Shalom. Your peace about it. Tragedy's going to come. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. See, tragedy has to be there so that your marker meter can be assessed. You see? So tragedy, in whatever form it may come in your life, it's going to come. Anticipate that. But know this, that you are equipped with the tools. You have limitless tools at your disposal to assist you and to help you go through tragedy triumphantly. That's the facts on the ground. And what you see as non-comprehensible can become real. And what you see as just a dream can become real life, physical reality in your life. True. Now, just like I like to stay on the positive side of the stick with positive energy, if your dreams and desires are negative, guess what? That's what's coming your way as well. Negativity. Negativity. So you should always be what? You should be striving. You should write this script. You should write this for yourself. Is that you always want to be a positive energy in your city, in your town, in your state, in your country. This is what you want to do. It's so very important to understand. So very important to do. Quit trying to understand. Luxury class says, I hate it when people are positive about the negative and negative about the positive. Yeah. You're going to run into those. And it's tragedy for them, but to them that's the default setting. And for some of us in this room, we can laugh about it because we were at that same point. We were that description, luxury class that you talk about right there. But Baruch Hashem, and now things have changed. And we understand. You see, one of the law of attraction, another golden rule of the law of attraction is, are you able to accept change? You have to be able to accept the fact that you are energy. You can't accept that fact. I mean, what relevance is who do you listen to when you can't even change? You can't even accept the fact that you need to change. Change needs to start with you, not with your neighbor, not with the wife, not with the husband. Change needs to start with you. Can you accept it? Just like the Kohen says in his emails, can you handle the truth? Can you handle? Can you accept that you need to change? For some, change is hard. Oh, I'm this such and such age and I can't change. Yes, you can. Quit using age as a crutch. Oh, I'm too young. I don't know anything. Oh, that's great that you don't know anything. That's actually a good thing. You don't have all those walls of conditioning to break through. That's actually a good thing. Silence is golden. In your meditations. Or I would encourage all of you just to take some time out during the day to just be silent and learn to be silent. You see, because I've noticed something, and I've been, for the past couple of weeks, I've been really noticing this. It's that when I slow things down, things come quicker. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody else in this room, but that's where I'm at now. I'm slowing things down, and things are not only becoming quicker, but they're becoming clearer as you slow things down. Anybody know what I'm talking about? That's where I'm at right now. When things become slower, they become quicker. You're like, well, how the heck does that happen? Well, I don't know. But it does. It's happening that way. So you must slow things down for them to come quicker. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe you don't, and that's okay. But meditate on that. And actually things become clearer as well. And this is part of the silence mode. You see, you don't have to hop into this way, that way, or the other way. You see, you just slow things down. Silence is golden. Just be quiet for a minute. Have a quiet time that you set aside for yourself, so that you can become outside of yourself and you begin to see yourself and you become that watcher. Not only do you become the watcher of the to yourself. You see? You will find that within yourself you're a very beautiful person. Because you get to know yourself. What you don't like, what you do like, what you desire, what you want. I heard this man say the other day, which made a lot of sense. He's like, a lot of people don't know what they want. But what they need to realize, it's okay to not know what you want. You need to realize is that you need to ask yourself another question. And if you don't know what you want, then what don't you want? You understand what I'm saying? I thought that was revolutionary. He said, if you don't know what you want, then ask yourself what you don't want, and then you'll know what you want. You see? I think that's very, 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 very important. Sweet man says he wants time. Wow, we're talking about time today. We're on unlimited time. Time is not a problem for us as God's people. We have no problem with time. And that's one of the worst things. I appreciate your response there, your honesty that he wants time. You see, a lot of people in the world, that's what they seek is time. Remember, they already put on, are we talking about this scale? What were we just talking about this? They put on the scale, from when you're born to when you die, and then that's it. And we talked about that's being under the mind control stage. But then, what do we have? When you're in the subconscious, you understand that time, there's no such thing as time, it's limitless. You're unlimited. And every aspect of your life is unlimited. You all are doing great things for this world. You all are going to leave a great mark on this world. All of you are. Because you're going to leave positive energy. You're going to leave positive vibration. And you're going to attract. You're going to transmit and receive wonderful things for your life. And all your desires are going to be fulfilled. And they're going to be met. And notice, nowhere in there did I mention time, because time is irrelevant. It's, the testimony I give you about my daughter with the piano in the house as we speak right now. I wrote the script down. There'll be a piano in our next house. But when the universe will say, no, you have a piano now. Now! Do you see that? See, so time is irrelevant. It's when the universe wants to give it to you, you'll get it. You'll get it when the universe wants to give it. So you don't have to think, you have to put a time on it, because then that limits you. You see? The universes. Yes. Because we follow the universal law, the laws of the universe. See, there's many out there. This earth is just in one of the universes. You see, there's many. We serve that presence outside. What do we call him, Mr. Hall? We call him the what? We call him that eternal presence, that eternal life source. Whatever name you want to give, some people call him God, Lord, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The question is, are you happy this day? The eternal life source wants you to be happy. The eternal life source wants you to have peace, wants you to have joy. Are you meeting the desires of your heart? Are you? You see, that's what's important. Everybody gets hoodwinked and bamboozled and all this religion mumbo jumbo. There's no time for it. Yeah, they're wasting their time as they know it. They're wasting their existence here on this earth. If you ask most folks, they'll tell you they want a life that's a fulfilling life. And however you want to fulfill that life, that's what you do to fulfill it. And you go after that. You pursue the fulfillment of a life. Not living a life in fear. Oh, I'm so afraid because I don't have much time left. That's living a life in fear. I'm not going to sit here and live a life in fear. There's so much of that going on. There's so much hatred and division going on out there. I'm not going to contribute to none of that mumbo jumbo. I don't know if he's still in the room. Is this guy still, Sweet Man, is he still in the room? Sweet Man, you still here? No, Sweet Man seems to have left. But Sweet Man says he's up there, same-sex orientation. I have no problem with that. Sweet Man. But other countries do. I have no problem with that. But other countries do. Other people do have a problem with that. See, I'm not here to judge anybody. I have not been put on this earth to condemn anybody for what their desires are. I'm not here to do that. Do you see? That's important for us not to condemn. Put people under the bus for how they want to live their life. I'm not here to condemn anybody. But those Bible believers out there, mind control, oh, that's a sin, Rabbi, I gotta go. Well, good riddance to you. Who's to say these people have missed their mark? Well, I just read this article just last night about some country. Have you seen that? For the same gender people, if they find any of their citizens, they can be flogged. Did you see that? Did you see that? You need to go look at this. I forgot the name of this country. I'm going to have to go dig up that article. That they're going to flog, they're talking about killing people too, I think. But they said they were going to flog them. I was like, my goodness. If you show any of these tendencies of being of the same gender, persuasion, you desire to do that, that's your desire, you're attracted to that, my goodness. What is that, Mishpah? Hatred, division. Don't need more of that in this world. At the end of the day, they're still made up of atoms. Do you see where we're going with that? But yet, as you've seen, Hakoim, here's religion at demo, intolerance. There you go, Hakoim. We've seen it for ourselves. And I think this person has said through the whole of the lecture. But as soon as, the gay guy comes in here, says he loves being gay, saying he loves men, oh my goodness. Oh, you people are all going to hell, I have to leave. The Bible is this is blah, 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 blah. Do you see it? You saw it for yourself, Mishpah. You saw it for yourself. This is what religion will do to you. And how they misunderstand, misquote the creator of the heavens and the universes. And they take and they use the Bible as the bully pulpit for hate, for hatred. Think about that. And that's happening over and over and over again. I will sit here and have peace, joy, and love for all of Adam, all of the atoms on this earth, even the rocks and the stones in my backyard, in my garden, and the insects. I respect them all. I tell you what, now I have a high appreciation for all of creation. When you get in the subconscious, everything becomes alive. How many know what I'm talking about? Even the mosquito. Before, I used to kill the mosquito. I don't do that anymore. I just shoot the mosquito away. How many of you know what I'm talking about? The little bugs, the little gnats. I'm out there reading my book in the garden, enjoying the Mother Nature, enjoying Mother Earth. And these little bugs that come before, I used to swat them and kill them. I don't anymore. I just move away. I say, hey, little bug, go on your way. Do you see? Now, I mean, it's enhanced. Everything now becomes enhanced as far as, Mother Earth is concerned. Because at the end of the day, that same little bug, that same little ant may be eating my flesh one day. Think about it. As I return back to the earth, those little earthworms that you dig up, put them back. Everything has significance in this universe, on this planet. Let's just keep it centralized to the planet. So why am I going to run one person under the bus for how they believe? If they're happy, if they have their joy, if they have their peace, have they not met their mark? Wow, think about that for a minute. Wow, who's to say that their mark has to be the same blueprint or the same script that I'm writing in my journal? That would be a boring world if everybody had the same journal or writing the same things that I have, right? I'm not here to condemn and put nobody under the bus, Mr. Baha. I'm here to show love, joy, and peace. Did the Master Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, at any time, did he refuse any kind of folks? Because of what? Oh, you running with this crowd? He went to the disease-stricken, what they would call the groundlings, the undergroundlings of society. And he would hang with them, but at the same time, he could rub shoulders and hang with those in the temple. Matter of fact, even teach in the temple. So what is he trying to show us there? What is the Master Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, trying to show us? No class. Having no classes and segregating yourself in all this class, that class, this tribe, that tribe. We're all one people. Human race. You see? And we're all to show love. You're right. Bluest girl, you're absolutely right. We're all to show love to all, regardless if they whatever they believe in. You love them. I don't care. You love them. You show them love. You show them peace. You show them joy. You'll be the better man and woman for it. I'm telling you. Enough with this bitches mumbo jumbo. Separate this one from this one. Oh, I can't talk to you because you're this. You have your hair like this. You're this color. You use this kind of syntax. I don't like you because you wear makeup. Because you only wear dress. Oh, please. When does it stop? When does it stop? Come on, man. Enough of that. Enough of that. Come back to the default setting. You're a human being, and so is everybody else on this planet. Let's learn to all get along with one another and agree to disagree. That's great. What a great society the world would be if we would all learn to agree to have disagreements. No problem. Silence is golden sometimes. Majority of the time, it'll do you a great service. You just be silent and you sit back and you really assess and analyze the situation before running off at the mouth. And that's what most people want to do. OK Corral type situation. Showdown at the OK Corral. guns are blazing. No, there's no time for all that. Let's just sit back and truly assess and process the situation. Using the mind as the wonderful tool, but dwelling in the subconscious and being able to see things with your I am side. Being able to process things with that I am side. Default setting being peace, joy, and love. Wow! That's making the world a better place, and that's where all of you are here in this room. You're here to do that. Yeah, everybody want to be top holiday. Guns are blazing. No time for shootout at the OK Corral. Leave your gun in the holster. Sit back and assess the situation. Sit back. Remember your default settings and who you are. And what kind of energy you want to bring in every situation that you confront. Every person that you meet, every relationship that you get in. What kind of energy do you want to leave? What kind of vibration, frequency do you want to leave in this situation? You don't want to bring hate, division, destruction, disaster, none of that. Depression. No, you want to bring love, peace, and joy. You want to bring happiness to folks. You want to change that frown into a smile. You want to leave folks like that. Truly you do. You should. No, Rabbi, you don't understand. Maybe I don't understand it. Maybe that's part of your problem. You understand too much. You sit there trying to understand it. Just do love. Do peace. Do joy. Be love. Be peace. Be joy. Tell yourself, I am love. I am peace. I am joy. I am happiness. And that's what you will be. And you just can't love those who love you. You have to love those who hate you, matter of fact. Let's get that correct. Oh yeah, Rabbi, I love everybody that loves me back. Well, what good is that at the end of the day? How about showing love, loving kindness, and love and compassion to those that don't love you, who resent you, who speak evil against you, who do all manner of wrong against you? Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with Crisco oil, coconut oil, peanut oil. So these are the things that we must understand going forward. That, be silent, hold your shalom, hold your peace. Be silent and really look within yourself, and you realize, my goodness, I'm deeper than I thought I was. When you get on your I am side, you'll realize the subconscious. When you become conscious, my goodness, the world becomes limitless. Life becomes limitless to you. And you become a powerful being. Powerful. Nothing can stop you but yourself. Only yourself can stop you. So on that note, I think I'll wrap it up for the Shabbat. Is Jesus God manifested? Is Jesus God manifested in the flesh with you? Absolutely. He's my Messiah, and he's many other folks' Messiah here in this room. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely is. Some may not have the opinion as I do, and I agree to disagree with them, and we can get on. And we can get on with life, right? And the I am is within you as well. It doesn't stop there with Jesus. The I am is within you. Because the Master Yeshua said, I will be with you always, even to the end of this earth. You see? He's with you. He is with you. He is in you. You have the DNA of El Shaddai. I am, you see? So we give thanks. And when you can begin to harness that side of you, oh my goodness, you are a superhero. You stay on the mind control side, and then you become the zero. You see? So, yeah, it's important. We have the DNA of El Shaddai. So then what does that make us? We serve the omnipresent, the divine presence. Then what does that make us as people? You see? Think about that. It's human beings. It's awesome. You're superheroes, Mr. Fahad. You all have a wonderful Shabbat. We'll leave it up for any questions now. If anybody has any questions, if you have any questions that are pertinent, please ask your questions. I'm going to turn it back over to the Kohen, the son of Aaron, and we'll keep it moving forward. Don't forget, you know, you have an opportunity to meet the mark, to be of great help, be of great assistance, help a widow. Participation? Do you want to participate? Do you want to meet the mark or don't you want to meet the mark? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you a mark meter or a mark neither? So that's where you need to be. So yeah, opportunity is there, information is there. If you guys have any questions about it, you can always phone us, send us an email, call in an email, and we'll clear up any of your questions. Because the last thing at the end of the day we want you to be is confused. There's no confusion here. It's straightforward. You just do. There's no confusion. Nothing to understand. You just do. You put it into work. You put it into action. You see, it's very, very important to understand. We give thanks to the Creator of heavens and universes, and I'm thankful and grateful to be able to participate and be a participant and bring out and give good energy to this world, good vibration, frequency, and let us continue to do so. Shabbat shalom, shalom, shalom to you all over the world. Back over to you. Have a wonderful Shabbat.
Tada for that, Rabbi Kefa. Okay, any other questions and any other suggestions? But remember that what I taught you last week, that you continue your script, your journaling. You must do that first thing in the morning as you were instructed. You get up in the morning 5 o'clock. Those of you are on morning shifts, you should get up at 5 o'clock, do your script, and then you get on with your day. And the exact program you were given, if you follow that program, there's great benefit and blessings in that. And that will tune you up, and that will put you right instead with your desires and dreams to be met in this world, in this life. So it's very important that that instruction is adhered to, because that instruction has great reward for you, those of you who follow that particular type of instruction. Yes, Rabbi Kefa mentioned about the book from homeless to billionaire. I think that book is out May the 19th. You can order that book as a back title from Amazon, and then they will deliver to you once it's printed. So it is out in, I believe it's May 19 is the date. Other than that, the widow in question, yes, those of you who want to support the widow, you have the instructions to go to our website at african-israel.com or forever-israel.com. Then we have another website, wanderingisrael.com, and under there you can do a donate now through PayPal and put a little note or email to me saying it's for the widow. And you can also send it to Rabbi Kefa in his Gentile name, Rabbi Lemont Clofus, and that can go to the San Antonio address, which is on the main page of our website, and it will be right at the bottom of the page. Okay, so have a great Shabbat, have a great day ahead. Learn that love is very important. We can of course have problems with other people, as we saw. We saw that this particular person that was in this room, obviously religion has blindfolded and made a lot of people intolerant to others. We are not here to start condemning people and start making things up and start judging people as to what they should do and what they shouldn't do, because that is for them to decide. And the rewards and the pitfalls they will have to bear, whether they do the right or the wrong. So we can't really go around bashing people, hey, why are you doing this, and you should be doing that. And that's religion's job, and that's what religion does. Creates intolerance, hatred amongst individuals, because they don't like what something else and somebody else is doing, because they're not conforming to their standards. We don't do that. Bible standards are clear. God's standards are very clear as well. All are equal human beings, man and woman, and we are to get on with our world. We are to make our world better, and when God comes, when the Messiah returns, He will make the world a better place. In other words, this is all in the future, but we are not to fight about it right now. Who's right, who's wrong. Whoever is wrong, He knows how to judge, and He can judge at that point. So Baruch Hashem Yahweh, Baruch Hashem Master Yehoshua. One more thing, that next week, those of you who do the Passover, next week, April 3rd, is our Passover, Hanukkah Passover. That begins April 3rd, the solar one. So I would say that those of you who do it, follow those dates, because they don't change every year. And those of you who want to do the lunar Passover, I believe that's April 2021 is the date for that one. So until next time, have a great Passover, those of you who do. And Todah, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom Shalom to you.